Well, it's come to this. You like my achievements?
There's some achievements.
We should run the whole campaign from start to finish.
Oh, God, no.
Don't you agree?
No. This alone is going to be soul destroying.
Oh, we have to play the prologue. Dude, I forgot the prologue exists. Dude, we get to play as Zeratul.
Oh, shit.
Fuck, yeah. So this is Legacy of the Void, guys. We're playing Legacy of the Void.
Why are you playing Legacy of the Void?
I was told that this would be a good return to form, you know?
Who the fuck told you that?
we played the Antioch Chronicles.
This was N's doing.
We gotta play this now.
Only the man from fucking Crazy Mountain would tell you to do this. You know what's goddamn fucking abominable? You're forcing me through this? I had sworn an oath that I would never force myself through this fucking steaming pile of shit. And here I am watching another man force it through me for me. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
That's the best part about this development, is that instead of playing it yourself, you're not technically going against your word, because I'm playing it.
Yeah, but I've seen the cinematics on YouTube, and they were literally like reaching into my own asshole, grabbing hold of my intestines, pulling them out, and then fucking necking myself.
It's nothing, dude.
Like, this game is fucking bad, man. This like, I'd rather play like fucking Sonic 2006 than this, or Demon Souls. Like, I'd rather play like the most fucking bargain bin trash you can think of on the fucking PlayStation 3 than force myself to endure another fucking 15 minutes of Metzen's fucking love story bargain bin refuse. And yet here we are about to douse ourselves in so much fucking marmalade, we aren't going to be able to tell our assholes from our noses.
At great
This
cost.
is where Metzen was like, he knew he was going to get kicked out of the company because he is such a fucking talentless hack. So what he does is he goes into StarCraft 2 and he's like, I'm going to make everything fucking purple and green. And now everything is fucking purple and green. Just look at that fucking preview image. Fucking look at it.
Mm-hmm.
And then look at fucking Artanis. He has horizontal fucking lens flares in his fucking eye. Like, then you had Diablo 3 with the vertical lens flares. People are like, their eyes glow for, I don't know, photosynthesis or some shit. So we gotta add lens flares.
Mm-hmm.
Why? I don't know.
We gotta turn Artanis into Goku.
Goku doesn't have lens flares in his eye.
But if he were a plant, he would.
If he were a plant, I'd assume Goku would do the responsible thing. Because Goku is a responsible young man who takes responsibility, and he'd fucking hang himself before DeviantArt gets a hold of the fact that he's a plant and starts making fucking Rule 34 of him as a plant like they have for the Protoss. Like Dawn has ever so kindly demonstrated to us. Mm-hmm. That's actually a thing. Protoss don't even have mouths. How do you have oral sex with something that doesn't have a mouth? DeviantArt finds a fucking way, man. It brings us right back to fucking Sonic fic and baby furs.
I actually
That's
think
the kind of people that buy Blizzard games.
I was gonna say there's a direct link, I think, between
there is a direct link.
the deviants of the world.
Sonic is some twisted ass shit. It's like a social engineering project designed not to make furries. Like, you can't consider people who are into Sonic furries, because Sonic doesn't resemble an animal in any shape or fashion. It doesn't resemble anything remotely regarding sense. But they're socially engineered to think of like basic geometry sexually, and they're socially engineered to think it's okay for humans to mix with these things, these otherkin. And then that brings us full square to giving Metzen a job.
I can see
That's what this campaign is. Like, it's gonna be a fucking cesspool of incompetence and, you know, lack of quality assurance and all that shit. But at the forefront of it, it's really just Metzen just stretching his anus to a full diameter of 30 inches and clenching as hard as he can, and then just spraying you all across the face with this fucking Prozac meth mixture he's been living off of.
I wish I didn't spoil the ending about Tassadar being Zelnaga the whole time, because that would be a really good moment.
I've seen enough cinematics of this fucking game to know that only tragedy awaits us. See, the thing is, okay, so when I played Wings of Liberty, before then, I hadn't really been fully exposed to the, you know, the bottomless depths of Blizzard's complete disregard for writing. And when I was exposed to the Wings of Liberty ending, I thought, okay, there is no possible way I'll ever see a game ending worse than this. Well, then I played Heat of the Swarm. And Heat of the Swarm, that cinematic was leaked by the third-party developer that Blizzard outsources all their cinematics to. And nobody believed it. They thought it was a fake because it was so fucking bad.
There was one shot that was cut from it, which was like the shot of Mesk's vats of, you know, cloned Kerrigans or something, which actually would have been... It would have been even sillier, so...
Yeah, but like the worst parts of it were kept. Like, it was a storyboard, so, and Blizzard likes to cut rather than actually develop. So of course a bunch of stuff was cut from it. And you like don't think that's real. Like you're living like in a fucking fantasy world where this kind of shit is so fucking absurd you can't believe it. And then it turns out to be real. Mm-hmm. And there you are sitting there playing a released fucking commercial project that had an ending this fucking bad and a campaign this fucking bad, this poorly developed with this kind of dialogue, with cheesy Stukov face, fucking void and all. And then you had that ending to top it off. It was fucking out of this world, my dude. It was like that. That was really quite something else. And to top it all up, not just on top of the ending being absurd, but like at the crescendo, the apex of absurdity, Kerrigan just gradually floats off into the air like a fucking butterfly without wings. Mm-hmm. It's just like you spend this entire fucking campaign wandering around as a fucking hero in these canned micro missions because nobody knows how to make a fucking build and destroy for an RTS anymore. And you're stuck in all these fucking ledges and bridges and shit, and all this fucking time, Kerrigan could just fucking levitate like fucking Jesus and shit.
Yeah, not only
and
that, but she goes
in the campaign.
She goes
it's just
into
by
space.
saying "fuck you."
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, you know, my standards had been shattered. Now I had a new crowning title that I thought no game could ever approach for how bad the ending was. I thought Metzen had reached this fucking ultimate... He'd like a fucking ascended. He'd reach like fucking Tastar levels ascension. He'd become the fucking dark voice of meth and cocaine. Where, you know, this guy's actually still getting paid to make this. Mm-hmm. It's surreal. Like, the whole Blizzard experience was surreal. But at the end of the day, you conclude, no way will you ever see something this bad. Ever again. It's just like Wings of Liberty times 1,000.
And that's nothing compared to what's in store for us.
And then I played Lords of Game Testing.
Ah, shit!
And Lords of Game Testing, too.
You surprised me there, man. Wasn't
and
expecting.
They were bad. They were bad. Especially considering Castlevania, unlike StarCraft, actually had some decent presentation and writing behind it in the past. StarCraft was just a shitty Warhammer ripoff that there's some very strange under-the-counter deals going on, sort of keeping Games Workshop from just taking Blizzard, bending them over, and spanking them until they're raw. But Castlevania didn't have all that shit. It had perfection. It had as close to perfection as those kinds of games is ever going to get. And then Konami turned around and went to the Spanish developer and told them, I want you to make Swap.avi 2, The Revenge. And he ended up with Lords of Game Testing.
That's one hell of a design document.
That was fucking insane. Like, the ending for Lords of Game Testing 2, I couldn't even begin to convey the absurdity. It's not quite, you know, StarCraft 2 level absurdity, but it was very close. At that point, I thought I had found the two worst games in existence for writing. And Blizzard said, hold my math vial, because here comes Legacy of the Void.
Here it comes.
You have played this before. I don't know what could ever convince you to play it again, but I feel for your soul.
It burns.
It does burn.
So
StarCraft 2 is an
this.
unmitigated disaster start to finish.
Just read
Everything
this.
about it is fucked up. The audio, the voice acting, the writing, the gameplay. The very presentation of it is this sterile, overprocessed fucking mess. It's like somebody took a turd and polished it with their ass.
I think it's funnier that Discord cut you off there. That's a good bit.
Well, Discord is also a piece of shit, so it fits just fucking brilliantly.
This is a
Bring me back to fucking Roger Wilco, man.
one hell of a production we're getting into. At great cost, the last fragment of the prophecy has been revealed. The Xel'Naga Keystone will usher the Protoss unto hope. Armed with this knowledge, Zeratul must return to his people and warn Artanis, hierarch of the Protoss, before it is too late. Zeratul's quest will continue in Legacy of the Void, the final chapter in the StarCraft II trilogy.
They have to point out that this is a StarCraft 2 trilogy. They gotta get that fucking logo advertisement in there because just in case somebody sees this heaping pile of shit, they wouldn't want anybody, mistaking this heaping pile of shit for somebody else's, like EA's or Ass Invasions or Ubisofts or fucking Bungie's or that is incompetent Neanderthals. No, this is Metzen's heaping pile of shit. Be fucking reminded of it every step of the way. You didn't just fucking launch StarCraft 2. You don't have the fucking StarCraft 2 logo in the top left. No, we gotta tell you right fucking here, this is the final chapter of the StarCraft 2 legacy.
Of the Void.
Of the Void. Need I remind non-Americans that in the American language, void basically means nothing. Like, it's a space of nothing. So, whenever we see it used liberally for terms related to things that are not nothing, we just assume that basically Metzen has his dartboard of buzzwords he throws darts at while being fucking shit-faced with that completely soulless marketer grin on his face. And this is where these words come up. Chaos, void, fel. Anybody who's played World of Warcraft knows that basically they just copy-paste these words forever. And now it infests League of Legends, because League of Legends has Blizzard employees who walked in and said, Metzen is such a great writer. He says chaos and void and hell and doom and shit, and we was kangs and shit. Well, now you have entered the vortex.
Hey, Vortex of the Void is the name of a custom campaign in StarCraft 2.
Oh, fuck. God damn it.
Speaking of custom campaigns and unpolished, not official products, let's get on with this, dude. We're gonna go on brutal, because we're experts.
We are fucking epic gamers.
We're skeptics. Oh, man. The solid lag at the beginning there.
Space of oblivion.
Oh, yeah, you can read this.
Dark God Amon has been reborn in an unknown world, heralding the doom for all life in the Kapulu sector, before returning to his people to face their judgment. Zeratul scours the galaxy to find a way to stop the coming darkness. In this late hour, he sees the last fragments of an ancient prophecy, like a bright ray of hope. Expanding to a new resource location allows you to speed up unit production and can give you a foothold closer to the front line.
What a topical tip.
What a topical tip.
Last fragments of an ancient prophecy. Oh, yeah, that's some...
Oh my god. What is this heaping pile of shit?
I don't know, but why is it at 5 FPS?
Well, it is StarCraft 2. Well, that fucking difference clouds on some ribbons. Oh, the lens flares was so epic, man. Just like this 32 by 32 sun texture. And her fucking 1x1 green ribbon.
Wow, that's high risk.
No, let's put that in front of the camera. It looks great. Let's zoom in that angle. It's just like the fucking Star Wars movies. Blizzard has always idolized Lucas. Because nobody is as fucking incomprehensible as Metinson as Lucas.
Wait, that ship is actually green and purple! What the fuck?
Green and purple. It used to be black or something before, right?
Oh.
Like they retconned it?
It is a great honor. I am Praetor Talus, and I humbly request your aid.
Were his eyes always felt green?
I don't
StarCraft 1?
I don't think so. His eyes were like purple or something.
I guess after he went to Black Temple, Illidan changed him.
The swarm.
I'm on my way, Talus.
Oh no. I just remembered everything about this campaign. Fuck!
This fucking face animation is so bad. They always have to over-exaggerate everything because they don't actually know how to animate.
We must free them before the swarm overwhelms the facility.
Zeratul, I thought I sensed your presence. Let's not mince words. Why are you here?
Let's show that unterrained upper area.
My captured brethren.
And cut to all of our units moving at exactly the same time.
This facility is a breeding ground for Amon's hybrid army. My swarm will...
Butter just suicide!
But I know that won't stop.
Wow.
So let me make this clear. Stay out of our way, Zeratul.
Oh man.
Kerrigan, like, she couldn't make a less commanding voice if she tried.
In this fight, Talus. If we are swift and clever, we can avoid the swarm.
Very well.
Doesn't his ship looks entirely different in game, doesn't it?
I think it's the same
Or is it
model.
just the lighting? I think it's still green and purple, but the lighting is completely.
The captive Templar are kept just ahead. Ready your blades, warriors.
Oh no. Oh no. I have
At
to
least
play
we're not
this
looking
game?
at like bright white and pitch black for the color.
Yeah, that is a benefit.
Swarm to destroy the station's reactor.
Reactor.
Free our brothers before that happens.
Ah yes, the gimmick here.
Prelate, we will need to cross the swarm's attack route to reach the captives. Move forward only when it is clear. Avoid the Zerg's forces at all costs.
Can you tell what the gimmick is?
It's a timed mission, just like all other Blizzard maps. Because all fucking missions that Blizzard makes are timed, because they've just got the one fucking gimmick and that's it, and everything always amounts to being on a time.
It's pretty insane. I can't believe that it's I can't believe you can't even attack that base because they have so many pre-placed units. What the fuck? I think because I don't have vision of it, it's not animating.
Attack. Warriors, stay clear of the Zerg's path.
So
How many times does he have to tell me that I can't move, by the way?
Draws to the last.
Basically, just kind of sit here and pick your deck, waiting for things to happen. It's very interactive. It's a great way to start this game. It's to say, hey, you know, 90% of the time, you can't do whatever you want to do. You can only do what we say you can do. Very, very Blizzard. Very, very authentic Blizzard, you see, Blizzard's developers are so fucking full of themselves that if you ever do something that they don't agree with, they will just grab your hand and stuff it into their pants. World of Warcraft is incredibly infamous for this. But also, you know, the hard counter systems in Warcraft 3 and everything like that, Blizzard are very, very terrible at playing games. They don't really like playing games, so they have one specific way that they, you know, can kind of get away with. They're going to ensure that that's the only way that works. Class balance in their games is just an absolute fucking nightmare as a result. And StarCraft 2 is a fucking tragedy. StarCraft 1 and, you know, Diablo and Warcraft 3, to an extent, they all had skill expression in them. Blizzard hates skill expression. They despise it. So in the place of skill expression, we get macro mechanics, which I see are still in the game.
Glory to our master.
And
Glory to our master.
I really just wanted to pretend that Amon and Dark Void Goatsay just didn't exist. I was much happier that way.
They will surely attack soon.
Thanks. I don't have permanent vision of their base or anything. Oh wait, no, I don't even think I do. I think I just have temporary vision of their attack forces.
Well, you can see them on the map anyways. There's a big glowing indicator for people who lick windows for a living.
Why does she talk to her warrior, Zerg?
Why is she talking to you, Zeratul? Maybe she's got a thing for you. Maybe there really is like a three-way thing going on.
Maybe.
You know, Zeratul is just Thrall, too. That's the other thing, is Metzen doesn't have enough self-inserts in this game, so he's got to add more. And they've always got to be heroic and self-sacrificing. So, of course, you got Raynor, who's literally modeled off of him. And then you've got Thrall, who's literally modeled off of him. And then Zeratul, which has more analogs to Thrall at this point than Raynor does, I suppose. Maybe that's why he needed another one. He needed a planty scapegoat that otherkin could squee after. Never will understand how someone with such an incredible taste for dick was so scared of admitting that he just loves. You know, what also doesn't get me about these graphics is, like, take the Zealots for example. They have ragdolls on the light that goes from them when they're being teleported. I don't understand that because it adds a ridiculous amount of unnecessary visual noise.
No, it's completely necessary.
Oh, okay. I'll take your word
Look,
for
they
it.
I didn't even notice this. They actually wall off the door, so you can't go that way.
Those fucking tentacles look horrendous. The frenella, whatever that's on them, it looks like garbage. Just look at they're like backlit. It's just horrible.
Intriguing.
Hey, stop coming me! What the fuck?
And he wants you. He's got it in your eyes.
I'm probably gonna get attacked pretty soon. And I'm not in
I
position.
like how they had to like stick a very large sum of doodads in your base to pretend that the map was detailed, and then the vast rest of it is not so much. There's like just this massive lump sum of random crap slapped all around the edges of your base. The craters and the plating and other stuff is very, very academic.
Well, yeah, because you can't have you know, anything blocking terrain or whatever.
Yeah, having terrain design is just something we can't do. It would scare away the casuals. They can't just blindly insert dicks into their mouths that become lost and confused.
Huh.
What we need is like Brevik on here just to drunkenly rant about salaries and shit.
Oh yeah, I was gonna talk about that, but I forgot the guy's name. It's really funny to me that that's like that guy had the alcoholism escapade after working at Blizzard.
Everyone in that fucking company eventually turns into an alcoholic, either as a result of their incredibly shitty work ethics and abuse, or as a result of the fact that they're not doing anything they enjoy. But that's the same for most companies, though. It's definitely not like a Blizzard-only thing. I mean, fucking Cockstar was bragging about what their 100-something week hour shit because bragging about crunch time for a shitty fucking GTA clone is brilliant.
Oh no, Reapers! Oh no, they sent some reinforcements.
The Marine is just fucking standing there as you're killing the Reapers. They still don't have basic defense functions in these maps. That's unbelievable. This is the third fucking expansion, and we don't have defense function in build and destroy maps. I know for a lot of people who are watching this that are probably like casual, that probably doesn't really seem like much. But think about it. When you're fighting an enemy inside their base, don't you kind of expect their units to try to defend their base? They don't at any point in any of these campaigns.
Oh man, I'm getting some serious lag.
Yeah, this is very, very StarCraft 2. Very, very typical StarCraft 2 here.
We must be cautious.
See, despite the fact they're not running an AI, StarCraft 2 manages to consume more resources than mining Bitcoin. It's really quite an accomplishment. I also can see that this looks to be another one base map despite its size.
Yeah, remember our tip was about expanding? There is a single expansion we can take later on.
Oh, that's very also typical Blizzard is we don't like macro play because we're bad at it. And they're doing the old 4-gate, the legendary 4-gate that surely has endured StarCraft's history forever.
So these sentries are now mobile shield batteries. That's what they changed their combat rule to.
So you no longer can make people shed tears of blood by blocking off their range.
No, they still have force field. I'm just mean for the campaign.
Because force field is one of those abilities that's literally like impossible to balance, and they just refuse to fucking let it go. Just like the mother.
Yeah, you gotta
it's
be...
like the orcas, you know, Destin Browder just had to have his fucking orcas. And that's another unit they've really struggled to balance.
Oh, shit!
You put Reapers in Bunker, you must be playing against Ricky Hanajase.
Jesus Christ.
I see that they still haven't fixed any of the crystal textures or anything either.
What's wrong
I
with
love
it?
that they're just fucking standing around.
Yeah, they don't need to do anything.
It's a dead static map with auto-spawned waves.
Got him, dude.
You got him, man. Pat yourself on the back. We are epic gamers.
Avoid them if you can. Gee, I don't know, man.
Oh, damn it, N. This is such a dumb mission, too, because it's like, well, I can just use warp gates. I've been using warp gates since our first fucking Protoss missions and Wangs of Liberty.
Oh, no, I don't think they allowed you to.
No?
No, I'm pretty sure they were regular gateways, but I could be wrong.
I know we were using warp gates at some point in one of these campaigns. I mean, people have been using them in Melee for fucking ever anyways. Regardless if it was in a campaign or if we ever even played Protoss in a campaign, to have a massive, massive map like this with no expanding, no macro play, no defense, no AI, no nothing, whose sole intent is just to circumvent some Zerg with warp gates.
It does. I don't know that it really teaches you to do stuff in Legacy of the Void either, because you never are in a situation
I'm pretty
that's
sure
like
they
this.
don't, because Blizzard's much more about gimmicks than about actually teaching anything. I mean, just look at Kerrigan's fucking invisible immortal shit.
Yeah.
Blizzard hated factory play in StarCraft 1. They were really out to gut it in every way they possibly could. Those fucking Goliaths are a perfect example of incorrect material configurations within StarCraft 2. Because the specularity is so fucking high, all the shit on their shoulder pads and stuff just turns into a sparkly mess. And on the Zerg, it's amplified by 1,000-fold. You can see the health bars in there. Oh, that's great. Let's just cut to a cinematic in the mid-gameplay.
What do you know of this facility, Zealot?
Terrans
They're still armed with their side blades, too.
experimented upon
The little green text thing.
did not survive.
Yeah, it looks
By the way,
comical.
Seen foul
I'll point this out to anybody who's watching. Since you've already got a recording this, I know if I fully intend to talk over dialogue, I don't give.
hand brought you here.
That fire effect is literally straight out of Warcraft 3, by the way.
Not. Cator,
They're just using a slightly different texture for it. It
Yeah.
looks like shit.
brothers in arms.
I was gonna say, the texture looks different.
And look at the building. Look at the rubble. It's just a stretchy, gooey mess. No one gave two fucks. The DeviantArt fucking dropouts they hired for this heaping pile of trash just don't give two fucks. Because nobody in command of their staff gave two fucks.
Claim the vengeance you seek.
The swarm will begin another.
Kind of vengeance you seek, man. It's so edgy, so epic. These medics are just chilling out here in the middle of nowhere because communication is not something Terrans have.
Pylon technology.
By the
Fucking
way,
dropships
this never
go up,
happens ever
they
again.
stand there and then go forward.
Those who side with Amon's
They're
hybrid
experimenting
deserve
with-
mercy. Devour them whole.
That was a good sound effect.
Slaughter the Protoss.
Yeah.
Corpses are still of use.
Reclaiming the pylon now.
But the Protoss don't leave behind corpses because they teleport out.
No.
That's why the zealots glow, right?
No. By the way, I built a pylon and I completely forgot that I was just going to get a free one over here anyway. Oh, what a mess. I'm accidentally attacking fucking doodads that are destructible.
Yeah, their hit test is probably huge.
Yeah, well, just look at
I have
that.
a shadow casting light in here. They actually have 2 shadow casting lights. No, I think it's just a 1. That will destroy your FPS in this engine. It's deferred rendering, but they can't handle lights at all, even ones that don't cast shadow. I still remember Oracle. He was like, I'm gonna make a city map filled with lights, and I'm like, yeah, good fucking luck with that, because like 12 lights alone can just destroy your system. It's gonna have a science facility that had a bunch of light emitters on it, and well, that got scrapped real fast.
Yeah.
They weren't even big either.
So, this bit here is, this bridge extends over once we destroy this generator.
I love how, because their material system in this game is so utterly fucked, and their shader system is just obviously pulled out of like Ogre 3D or something. The terrain and the doodads and stuff like that, they don't match at all. The terrain system is using a completely different shader for how it handles normal and specularity. It doesn't even actually have real normal. And Legacy of the Void fucked that up even further, where it like hard loads out at certain zoom distances, and you can't actually fix that. Also, they changed the way the tiling works too, because there's that set UV something or another console commands. Well, that results in it's just like the hybrid mission with Proto. I love this. This is well designed, well tested, well memed. Guys, this is epic.
What an unbelievable experience. I'm not even using my macro mechanics. Sorry, guys. I'm not as much of an epic gamer as I thought I was. Ah, fuck! No. They're attacking me, and I don't have any defender's advantage.
Oh, no.
It's okay. We'll just give him a kiss.
Love this classic StarCraft 2 experience of randomly dropping all of your fucking frames because of a bully update. Because that is what is happening. Is the bullies are getting cycled for something. And it is just resulting in your processor being thoroughly explored by Jay Wilson's double
So I guess they're somehow managing to attack me from the left side. I'm not quite sure how.
It's quite possible they just spawn in some dropships or just waypointing them over or something.
Well, yeah, it's all spawned. I just mean, like, logistically speaking, you know, the Zerg have taken over this entire area. So...
They've done a very poor job of it too.
Yes.
We never see the Zerg. The Zerg would not just fucking ignore your presence here. But Kerrigan and everybody else who's ever controlled by the AI is just always demonstrated to complete total incompetent.
Oh shit! Dude, I'm so far away from winning.
Minions.
Oh yeah, the
Minions
mission.
I wish to be done with this already.
You can't say that. What the fuck?
You and me both, Kerrigan. You and me both.
Oops.
I'm gonna say just go drink some fucking petrol together and forget this disaster ever happened.
Wow, there go all my frames. Holy shit. I might have to...
You just attacked like 8,000 food worth of Terran with like 20 food worth of units.
Well, I was told to hurry up.
Oh no, they're still using that fucking model.
Oh, the Hellhound. Or whatever it is. Warhound.
Oh, just neck me. I don't ever want to see that heaping pile of shit ever again. I thought about fucking...
No, I think I need Immortals in this mission. Why does it transform?
Transform and roll out! Well, you see, in America, the Transformers movies were considered a success, right? So if we make pop culture references to Transformers by having arbitrarily transforming units that look like they came out of Fisher-Price or something, well, we will be popular because those movies were popular. Because we've connected with them on a spiritual level. Because all American produce is cargo cult.
Alright. Now I'm in the zone, dude. I know what's up.
The captive temple
I don't believe it.
just ahead.
I believe that just the very act of playing this again is going to slowly erode your brain.
Yeah? What gives you that?
Whatever is left after playing it the first fucking time.
Ay, ay, ay.
I can't believe I'm fucking sitting here watching you flagellate yourself like this.
We must free our brothers before that happens.
It's lewd.
It is lewd. This is some pretty hardcore BDSM shit you got going on.
To reach the captives.
You're literally whipping yourself with your own cat of dicks.
Avoid the Zerg's forces at all.
Meanwhile, Zeratul's chanting about the fucking prophecy and slathering you in his sap the entire fucking way. And somewhere N is just screaming forever.
If only. Golly gee whiz.
You know what would make this game fantastic? If you had to play Undertale mini games every single time you wanted to make a unit or give a unit order. That would add some unprecedented level of role-playing depth to this epic role-playing experience that Blizzard Entertainment has graciously blessed us.
Gathers for an attack. Warriors, stay clear of the Zerg's path.
Oh man,
Minions, push forward.
Stop
Slay
minioning
these
me.
hybrid thralls to the last.
Thrall?
You know, what's amazing about this dialogue is how absolutely soulless it is written. Like, it's voiced soullessly, and it's also written soullessly. There's no character. There's no attempt to add character. They always go for the absolute bare minimum and throw in some buzzwords to try and make sure the casuals can pay attention for longer than 2 or 3 seconds. It doesn't help that the character designs are so boring off the get-go, but they really, like, you could make it work. You could hypothetically make it work. But they don't try to.
Yeah, man. Doesn't make any sense to me.
Your gas is not fully saturated.
I know. I have to mine more minerals right now.
You need like 15 drones a geyser.
Sorry.
You gotta play like a true champion of this title if you expect to win this brutal difficulty match.
Yeah, I forgot Immortals were even in this map. I think you could even get Colossi later on. It's a pretty high-tech first mission, dude.
Yeah, that arbitrarily restricts you out of Stargate units because they would trivialize the entire act of playing this gimmicky bull. Glory to our master!
That's a way better line than the one that they delivered.
I mean, I'd be scared of getting fondled, so it provokes some kind of response, I suppose.
Yeah.
The Zerg are gathering. They will surely attack soon.
I mean, imagine, just picture it. You're a plant man. You believe in the prophecy. You subscribe to,
Reactor.
Jay
You know.
Marino on YouTube.
I was gonna say extreme right-wing groups, which is basically the same thing.
Mm-hmm. You
And,
heard it here
You know, and
first.
suddenly a bunch of Terrans walk out of the darkness with nothing on, and their dicks are like full mass, like full 8 inches, and they come charging at you with their hips thrusting. Like that put the fear of fucking God into you.
I agree.
They
I would
start
be very
chanting glory for
scared.
our master, and you get introduced to, you know, big dick. As they start like lashing you, giving you the lashing of the spanking.
So what I
as
want to
club
know
music
is,
starts playing.
why the fuck are we in a position now where we're not allowed to build observers even? Like, the thing is, I think the reason why Blizzard did that is because they didn't use some areas and didn't terrain them or something. Like, there's got to be some component of, you know, the game not being fully
What you're saying is that
developed.
Blizzard doesn't know how to make fucking build and destroy maps, which is precisely what's going on.
Yeah. It's pretty frustrating, though. I would like to be able to play the game.
Dude, you're in StarCraft 2. You're not even playing a game to begin with.
Ah,
You were playing
shit.
shovelware. It's very different. Shovelware is designed to distract. That's precisely what StarCraft 2 does. It's a very, very cleverly designed illusion by a bunch of focus marketers to give you the illusion you're playing a game when you're really. They go through such elaborate lengths to shield you from the fact you're not actually playing a game. Generally through the use of like terminology and flashing colors and cuts away from things that are happening.
Aye, aye, aye.
That's precisely what time limits are for. They kind of try to keep you focused on the one thing. You know, never straying from the one focus-tested path. You see only what they want you to see. You don't have time to really do anything. You don't have time to explore. You don't have time to think. You just throw yourself at it to meet the time goal.
Aye, aye, aye.
There's a lot of the civilians saying there don't even fucking respond to you, just slaughtering everybody next to them.
Yeah, they're...
They just sit there animating and fucking nothing.
What can you expect, man?
I mean, I would expect somebody with the kind of finances this developer has.
Fuck? How do these units even do damage?
Try to do. How do they do damage? They ejaculate. We've been through this.
Ah, sorry. They're focusing my nexus.
Smiling as those orcas lay waste to your base. I first see another restart in our immediate future.
No.
Never mind. They're just gonna chase your zealot across the map.
Mm-hmm. Because that's a reasonable response.
This is intelligent design, lady and boys.
Alright. Throw down another robotics facility here.
The prophecy can't handle intelligent design. The creator
Return
is upset.
to serve. Oh shit, I lost my gas, guys, or men.
Just put like 30 probes on it. I've seen top players do it, so it's gotta be good.
Alright. Well, we're making much better time this time, man. We've learned. We've evolved.
Oh, wow. We've evolved by placing our stalkers closer to the tank so they die first.
Mm-hmm. Dude, Immortals are broken as fuck.
Dude, did they give Immortals another ability?
No, that's the changes to their hardened shield. It's called Barrier, and it absorbs up to 100 damage for 10 seconds.
What the fuck? They did make them more broken.
The Zerg forces will move soon. We must.
Oh shit! Every time the power field goes on screen, I get about 10 frames.
It's probably overdraw.
Demands it.
The
Arian
Queen
is so
of Blade.
unconvincing as a character. Like, she's talking to, like, 90% of her fucking forces don't even have basic sentient. Like, who's she fucking talking to?
I don't know. She's not my queen.
Turning Point USA.
Yeah, that's a good one. Oh yeah, cutscene. Get me out of here, dude.
I can't get you out of here. I can't pull out.
Warriors, there is another
I gotta use the jaws of life for this operation, daddy.
What the fuck? They removed the Raven that was over here.
He
Hi.
just got called out of existence.
Bye.
He just fucked off back to Tennessee. You know, they have this fucking door opening and stuff getting sucked in as if to give the insinuation it's like decompressed. But the medics are not even remotely affected by it, so the sensation is completely abandoned immediately because any sense of consistency is not something I really care.
Hey, come over here, guys.
reclaiming the pylon now.
Why does this work?
Primitive beasts can manipulate our technology.
This is so fucking stupid! Why does this happen? Ah, God.
Oof, ah. Look, they just go right to it. They just go. They don't skip a fucking beat. They're still going.
They're ignoring him.
It does not.
Oh no! We are a tide of death that does not break.
wrote this shit? Like, sometimes I have a hard time even believing medicine is this fucking talentless. Well, I mean, you look at the product as a whole, it's kind of hard to get out of that.
Hi. I didn't quite mean to attack yet, but whatever. It's not like there's tanks in here. So they don't even need shields now to use their hardened shield ability.
No, that would be too complicated.
Like, I was originally gonna grab
though,
this
is
these
climbing.
shield regen units because I thought, oh yeah, this will work out in my favor, you know. But
You know what'll work out in your favor is having that giant dragon dildo that's floating next to your base. It's serrated
What,
for
this?
pleasure.
ah,
Tested our ship. That's a dragon dildo. I'm telling you.
yeah.
I own 5 of those.
All right, where are we going?
I don't know. Where are we going?
Oh, wow, we made it with such good time. What? Oh, I deselected the unit by accident. Oof! Ah! Absorbs 100 damage! Lasts for 10 seconds!
Oh shit. I like how they have to have glowing indicators on stuff.
Yeah, I wouldn't notice it otherwise.
I really am playing like World of Warcraft. The game just tells me what to do and I just mind-numbingly accept it. I didn't need to think about anything anyways. I'm not playing a game. I'm playing a fucking PowerPoint presentation.
Devour them whole.
It certainly performs like one.
Oh! Oh! Oh!
Oh shit, oh no! Oh yeah, they do just spawn outside the map and just arbitrarily attack.
Their corpses are still of use.
Trying to make them appear intelligent by not having any intelligence in them whatsoever. That's very typical Blizzard, but
Yeah, trying to make them appear intelligent is like conga line after a single immortal again. Right into base defenses.
it's epic.
What? He was aiming up at the Zealot, even though the Zealot... They can't even attack up!
So, they probably have the attack superior and attack inferior, and because the target vertex or volume or whatever that they had chosen was at a certain elevation, and compared to that, they just decided to use attack superior. So that's what the attacking up animation is. So that can look pretty goofy, or it's an animation in general.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It doesn't look intentional. Whatever it is.
None of this game looks fucking intentional. Like, if you saw us with any other fucking logo on it, you would probably be filing a report for terrorism. Because this is psychological warfare. Like, I can't even fucking see what the hell's even going on when they're standing on top of that glass terrain object they got going on there, because all the colors just mashed together. It's just, again, you know, super high contrasts with
A checkpoint!
identically colored units.
Running short.
Oh shit! There's an X on it that you can click on? Wow, that's so new and advanced. They have an X on an arbitrary window you can click to close because we have these windows for some reason.
Awaken the Zelnaga.
No response.
Yeah! Oh man, I forgot about that! She says no response! And after 5 milliseconds! She couldn't even respond that quick! Like, they didn't even do any work!
Dude, Kerrigan is too busy pleasing herself after hearing the majestic voice of the savior Zeratul. Oh my god, there's finally an I cannot believe we're 19 minutes into a mission and nothing has even fucking happened yet. We've just been slogging through a bunch of fucking emotionless mimes. This must be what Blizzard's recruitment practice is like.
Yeah, if you
They
could
just
stand
send people
playing
into
this
colleges and they're
campaign.
like, hey, will you join our company and
Hi.
work slave wages for shitty fucking payment?
Oh shit!
Making garbage
I can't divert them with an immortal! Fuck!
Oh no. Oh no, you're gonna lose your one robotics facility. Oh, that's such a tragedy. Oh gosh. Oh, look, this resource is just sitting around in case you're too shit to mine them yourself.
Oh,
That animation where it sinks into the ground has no curves. Did they just walk through that hole in the wall without it even being open? Is that what happened?
Yes. This is a released product, dude.
Where is Hitler when you need him? This walking cycles on those units, that's some Diablo 3 tier shit.
What? It just blew up!
Oh no.
What the
Tragedy.
fuck? Oh shit.
What a
They actually killed all my static defense.
Your base is dying. Well, that's because Immortals are broken, or Marauders, the other Immortal.
Yeah, the other one.
There's a reason why they
Immortal.
called it the Unholy Trinity, is because the 3 units that just basically destroyed any chance the game had of being competitive.
Oof. Ah.
Meanwhile, that one Orca is just gonna kill your entire army.
I forgot to build anti-air.
Should have built some scouts, man.
Ah, yeah, that's true.
You're gonna lose, oh my gosh.
No, I think that can hold, like... Listen, I'll travel you in a second. Why don't you use that fucking Void Seeker of yours and actually do some work, you idiot?
Because it can only seek void, it can only seek things that don't exist. Like his prolapse elasticity.
The Raven walks up here
slow
and
motion.
idles. That's its idle behavior when it has no mana. It just
That's
walks
because
up and...
probably that's his default location where they placed it in the editor. He'll just go back to there. Because they're not like assigned to a script or anything, and it's literally just bullies at the absolute best. Some sick micro there, wowie.
Oof.
Some mans over here.
Well, easy, cool, easy. I wish I didn't have all my achievements so I could show you all the
Why do they have
achievements.
indicators on the ground for the warp graphic? Why is there red indicators?
I don't know. Because it's red! Because it's Mobius!
But there's indicators on the ground for that. That doesn't make any sense. They already have a huge fucking graphic for them warping in.
You gotta make it different because it's Void! Amon!
Oh, well, okay. I'll take your word for it, Dad.
Don't you know Amon?
Defenses are growing stronger. Push forward with all our might.
Ah! Oops, I accidentally killed my own Colossus.
Oh. Oh shit, it's that one guy from that one campaign. We've established continuity and how he just destroys your entire fucking army. Hybrid Destroyer!
I lost
Of
all my
the
units.
names they could have given it, they called it Destroyer. It reminds me of when they renamed a Black Sphinx to Destroyer because they were afraid they would upset Africans or something.
I actually don't know if I have enough time to win now.
Target the
I'm gonna have to sit through this for another fucking half an hour, boys. I really am just gonna go nick my... Destroy! I worked hard on writing this dialogue. Destroy! So commanding, so fearsome.
Losing that shit really fucked me. That second robotics facility. And yeah, the brain too. Wow, they just annihilated it. Actually, I think they can withstand like 2 more assaults, so it's fine. Look at this thing! What the fuck? Why? What is it?
That's Fresnel. Blizzard discovered Fresnel and was like, we have to put it on everything. We're gonna use it for lighting in all of our games. We're gonna use it on random doodads. It's Fresnel. You know, way back in Quake, we used Fresnel on power-ups and shit. Well, now we're gonna use it on everything in 2014, 2016, whatever, because we're ahead of the curve. We're riding that bell curve.
All right, let's go, dude. We can breach
And
their
all
defenses.
the metal in this game looks like plastic at best, because the specularity is so hosed.
Probably
It's
wanna
not like
wait
the
for
engine
them.
can't do it. You just apply a simple cube map to it and break it up a little bit with a mask, and you're good. Doesn't
I'm
need
gonna
to
wait
be
for this
elaborate.
Colossus to get over here, and then we should be good, guys. Oh fuck! Will he get there in time?
Carrigan is readying
No.
another assault. Be careful.
Be careful, dude.
Destroy the reactor.
Fuck!
Now.
Oh no!
I told you.
Yes! Please, win it for me! Yes! I did it!
This is next level tactics, boys. Next level.
Holy shit! That's insane. Hey, what are you guys doing?
Like how they're just sitting there. Nobody even responds because there's no defense active.
Oh! I can't
This is
believe
such an epic game.
I can't believe it. Oh, hi.
There's a probe in the middle of buttfuck nowhere. Oh, that was a hard fought mission.
Oh shit, this auto turn might.
By the way, you know it was 3 that you had to capture because
of course, because
it's always
3.
fucking 3. And they're just got their side blades out, just
Thank you, brothers.
you know. Oh, and suddenly everyone's here.
Have been abducting Templar, bringing them to Terran stations, turning us into hybrid.
The Tal'Darim? Those heretics have never ventured so close to our worlds.
This can only be the work of Amon.
That green transmission thing looks so out of place.
Yeah, it's a goofy little World of Warcraft dude.
I don't understand that. Like they applied like this perspective to it, and it just
Location was kept
looks so weird. And it's green.
Mobius and the Tal'Darim both served under.
Yeah, I understand Zeratil's ribbon is green, but
Would have known the location of this temple. The Atreus system.
he just operates that Terran device, no problem.
Amon was reborn.
It's completely unsecured, just walks up, turns it. This is where Amon was reborn.
It's not even like you're mind controlling a Terran unit or something.
My
Like,
quest, Zeratul. I am honor bound to help you in yours. We shall help you claim this temple.
There's like not even a semblance to make this make sense. Like they don't even make the attempt to make it make sense. They just fucking medicine plot device their way through it at every fucking opportunity. You killed 250 units, maybe like 20 of which were actually attached to something going on the map. The rest of it was literally like just running your dick back and forth across a fucking cheese grater, screaming like a spider monkey and banging your face into your monitor.
that's a good summary of playing this game. Honestly, like I really don't understand the whole Zerg thing too, because wait, what was this?
The
Oh,
Zerg
if you
only
destroy
exists as a
30 Zerg
gimmick.
units, you get an achievement.
Oh
Wow.
wow, golly, an achievement!
And that World of Warcraft. Oh, that's a good gimmick. That's
Wow,
a good meme.
that's such a great play on words, guys. You really tried hard.
Oh my god.
Golly, wow.
Oh,
Such
back
a
to
epic
this.
game. Back to that fucking Warcraft 3 planet model that runs at such a shitty resolution because we couldn't just fucking pre-render the fucking
My
thing.
forces have secured a location.
Give it more than
on
30 by
temple
2 by 30.
grounds, and we are ready
Oh my
to move
God.
against the Tal'Darim. This
Now
should
we are
prove
in a
to be
pre-rendered one, and you know
glorious
what?
battle, brother.
It's even lower resolution. And the lens flare. And it's washed out.
Yeah, they like
All
muddied
the colors are
colors.
super washed out.
Why didn't?
So-
why is this a static thing instead of an animated like overview?
Two
of the
things. Like,
planet?
why is this a static thing? And what is with the division of the elements on the screen? So we have brutal on the bottom left. Okay, we have launch in the bottom middle. Okay, we have quit in the bottom right. How much I wish I could push a button. And then all the way on the left side of the screen, we have the portrait that they look terrible because they're 3D models and not pre-rendered like they should have been. We have some World of Warcraft icons, which are just for fucking achievements that will spoil the mission if we mouse over them.
Yes, exactly.
And then we have 90% of the screen whose sole purpose is just to show us this incredibly shitty fucking screen capture that someone went into Photoshop and applied some fucking streaks on for fucking lens flares. Like, this is a far fucking cry from the briefing rooms in StarCraft 1, and yes, the briefing rooms in StarCraft 1 weren't anything elaborate, and yes, we had some load screens with art in StarCraft 1, but all of them didn't waste so much fucking space to fillet themselves with low-quality DeviantArt renders. This is like when you look up any kind of fucking Rule 34 Sonic stuff on DeviantArt, and you go into like the DAZ 3D section, and you start seeing all these fucking renders with like 2001 level rendering technology. That's what this fucking looks like. Except someone got creative and placed lens flares on it to make it look edgy and epic. None of the scene composition fits together. The blue looks weird when it clashes because it's minimalistic. The icons are not. They're straight out of World of Warcraft. The portrait clashes with all of that because it's really low resolution and it's 3D, and it doesn't even age that well. When the game came out, it was already outdated by 15 fucking years. And then we've got the background that clashes with it too because it's so low resolution and the color toning has been fucked.
Yeah, so there was no attempt to make it, even the color balance of the entire screen fit together, let alone like the individual elements in terms of their art style, right? Because you have like the green here, and the purple's washed out to look silver or black or whatever, but then you've got this big blue piece. And okay,
keep in mind, the Void Seeker now is purple and green, and now the purple has been slammed so hard by the whole wood Blu-ray fucking tone map you've got going on, where there's this massive movement to recalibrate Blu-ray releases because it gets so utterly fucked between the theater and then the publication on disc. That's what happened here. Somebody got fucking creative. Some Blizzard and creative ventures lead to shit like those crushed fucking voices from that default Pro Tools compressor they use on all their voice samples now. But it's like just the screen real estate beyond the visual elements, the fact that we don't use it for anything is... They should just rethink the whole fucking thing.
Well,
like honestly, I think this screen's just entirely unnecessary. Like,
yeah, I mean, we should have just had like a button to press to launch the mission, and then we get into a briefing.
After the first cinematic or whatever, it's just like the elements pop up there. Transitioning into this scene was entirely unnecessary to begin.
Yes. Well, let's see how unnecessary the gimmick is.
Let's see how fast I can build a noose.
Well,
now we're back here again. We faded out right back into the same fucking thing. You notice they've got lens dirt? They've got lens dirt because in space there's dirt on your lenses. Wow. All to break up the low resolution, low qualityness of the fucking screen capture they got going on here. That's the only reason why anybody ever uses lens dirt. Again, it's all about distracting from the ineptitude of the scene composition. Just mask the scene over with a bunch of lens dirt and lens flares. Then people can't see how fucking terrible it looks! Except it makes it look even worse! At least they don't have chromatic aberration yet.
You gotta read that tip before I can go.
Okay, Pat, I'll do it for you.
Defend the ramps leading into your base with photon cannons. They're the easiest place to fend off enemy attacks.
They really got to emphasize it's the easiest. Not the most predictable. It's the easiest. We got to make sure that our game is accessible. Because if my mom can't play it, you're going to miss like 99% of your sales because my mom had to try the mission 2 or 3 times over because it wasn't easy.
Mm-hmm. This is a hard game, so it's good that these tips are here to tell us what to do. Enemy attacks, by the way, as opposed to allied attacks.
Now we're back to the horrible specularity.
Check out my Tal'Darim.
Ancient walls.
Oh yeah, they ripped your character name off.
Amon is actually it's a mythology name, so Blizzard's gonna rip it off because they can't come up with their own names. They just like rip off of various like Cthulhu mythos and Nordic stuff, and they maybe change like 1 or 2 letters on it. The absolute. They also really like ripping off of comics too.
Well, didn't you have a character named Malash?
Yep.
Yeah, that's who that guy's called.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh, that looks good.
Spell green, and let's show this low resolution terrain.
Oh,
there's Spell green. Looks so good.
Oof. So
man, that performance is legendary.
If you, I'm not sure if you missed it. Basically, the gimmick here is that we can't get gas any other way. We have to do it this way.
So we just gotta sit here. So it's another chore.
Yeah.
It's like the other map. The sole purpose of the gimmick is to add chores and distractions. The other map is you can't move where you want to when you want to. And you're on a timer. And this one also looks like it's potentially on a timer. It's timer oriented based on the gas. So it's based on the injections, except it's not an injection. It's a fucking Excel sheet that says you can only get this much gas. So an ejection is something you would control, like in Supreme Commander, you're controlling your mass fabricators and the points and stuff like that. This is just, here's a chore. And that's it. And we got a big fucking bar from World of Warcraft up there, snaps us right out of the immersion, very distracting for our chore.
That just tells you when you can go collect gas again.
No.
So here's my litmus test as well. If I can't scout out without running into a bunch of pre-placed bullshit, I'm usually pretty upset right off the bat. Well, there's some there, there's some here.
Well, of course there's gonna be pre-placed bullshit. We need you to sit there and play that early game that StarCraft is known for, which consists of sitting here against like a bunch of static shit that's never gonna fucking punish you, even though they have more than enough forces to just kill you right now.
Another good bit. What's up with the terrain here? There's nothing in my base.
It's shit. The terrain is shit in this game, and not necessarily because their textures are bad. A lot of their textures are all right. Hey, you know, the guy spent like 5 minutes Google image searching for textures and he found some fairly reasonable looking stuff. Like, when you would look at the grass textures, they don't look like they're 4x4 pieces of shit. But something about their engine takes something that's perfectly functional and shits all over it. A lot like the act of playing it. You get shat on. It's part of the diversity quota where you need to, you know, really cater to the audience that is into scat. And that's what StarCraft 2 is all about, is scat. Because you don't walk through this without getting shit.
Our God has no use for you. He will not suffer you to live.
Like I said.
I don't think that's legal. Can't just say
Listen.
stuff like that.
You might say that oral sex with animals shouldn't be legal. And many Canadians would disagree. This is
try
the
to
progressive
decide.
age.
Try to tell which
Nothing
one is
legal.
my zealot and which one isn't. Jesus Christ! Even though they're fucking
couldn't
bright
tell.
red, they are completely unreadable.
The proportions are all fucked up, their animations are unenthusiastic and flaily, and their collision is not configured correctly, so yeah, they just kind of mesh. None of this stuff is really hard to fix either, it's just, you know, effort.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
check
know
out
if
that
it's just your
stalker's
stream,
doing
but your-
really good.
Your
Look at that.
performance, or the stream performance is just, like it's like a fucking yo-yo right now.
It might be just the stream. For me, I'm at 30 FPS.
Yeah, well, when you were approaching it, there was definitely some significant hitching. I'll just blame the wonders of streaming.
I don't know, man. I wouldn't be
Blizzard's
super
really into the
inclined
streaming
to.
thing, partnering up with that data mining service Twitch. Known first and foremost for its cam horrors.
The Tal'Darim are mining these rock formations.
Yes.
This is fucking terrible!
They must have something of value. We should take a closer look.
We should not take a closer look.
And I need you to find me some of that mountain man meth and just inject it straightly into my anus. We're gonna do some fucking anal hazing right here. That is what it's gonna take to endure this. I
Void
like how the
rays.
rain is really messed up. Maybe it's a strand. There's parts where the rain looks like it's huge fucking streaks.
What? Why did they do no damage to these guys? The fuck? Full power, by the way.
Probably felt Void Rays were too strong. Because they got rushed by someone with Void Rays and they couldn't build their queen fast. Blizzard is very, very vengeful about stuff like that. If somebody on their staff gets upset by something, they will nerf.
That's like
Diablo 2 was well known for shit like that.
I think that was actually, even though that looks like a Dark Archon, I'm pretty sure that was a regular Archon. Just the Tal'Darim version.
You know, these are the same Tal'Darim we fought in the other campaign, right? I don't remember. Were
Yeah.
they red?
No.
So they're red shooting green lasers when they were green or something before.
They were just regular. Well, in Heart of the Swarm, they were green. So they've actually changed skins every single campaign they've been in.
You know, wasn't the main reason that they didn't want to have colored Protoss player color stuff for like the pylons and stuff because it didn't make sense from a lore perspective? But then,
Maybe.
like,
Oh yeah,
two
see?
steps
It
in
is a
StarCraft 2,
regular
you've got
icon.
Fel Green, and then you've got Grape Drink. And they still shoot fucking green lasers even though they're red? Like, you really couldn't make this more visually noisy if you tried to.
I can't
Well, I
believe
guess
that they warped
Antioch
in
succeeded
zealots
in it, I guess.
to... They warped in zealots to counter my Void Rays.
Well, that's just what you expected of this title by now.
Yeah, that's true.
So, you have 3 rock formations to destroy. 3 again. It's always 3. So does anything actually happen in this map, or is it just you just
Sucking
combing
dick.
around with void rays until you eventually just destroy their base?
That's the strategy I usually use.
Because to me it seems like that it's just a bunch of occasional pylons and fell green stuff from World of Warcraft here and there, and nothing happening anywhere.
Jesus Christ, die already! What the fuck?
I like how they call them Tal'Darim Protoss. They can't just call them the Tal'Darim. They have to call them Tal'Darim Protoss.
Ah.
That's a very bizarre twist after they decide to remove the race names from the prefixes of unit.
Yeah.
Definitely some conflicting opinions of how things should be labeled in this title.
So the bonus objective, what it did was give me a slow trickle of Vespene. Even though
So
visually
they
it's
defeated the purpose of
identical.
their own gimmick.
It's visually identical to this, but only that one is mineable. For some reason.
The mission, like, you haven't even started gameplay yet. Nothing's even fucking happening yet. Like, nothing's going on. You're basically auto-moving through Babby's first fucking terrain depth. Look at me, I made some auto-spawning resource injections you can pick up. Well, okay, but when do we start playing the game? You know, when do we start playing StarCraft? You got attacked by like 4 fucking units. And the only reason to destroy your defenses is because of how fucking worthless defenses are in this.
Watch
They
out, there's
certainly
another
don't
rock
match your
formation.
aggression. You've destroyed like almost half the map worth of idle units so far.
I don't really know what they were thinking, because I don't see this
They
as
weren't
being
thinking.
gameplay.
And they were just praying to God whoever played this wasn't thinking either. I mean, if they're playing StarCraft 2 at this stage, they very clearly are people who just don't give a shit about actually having, you know, an RTS to play. So as long as they just meet the bare minimum of you build stuff and attack things, then that's a success. And you really can't like go wrong there, because anybody who's playing at this point is going to agree with you no matter what you do.
Fissures are appearing here.
Any more than that's effort, and effort is too expensive. We can't have that.
I just realized, why did I even use my zealots at all?
I don't know. You needed more food.
More void.
I mean, the black-red wouldn't necessarily look bad, but because of the high contrast lighting they have going on, all the black does is it just destroys all the fidelity, and it turns into a very, very strange mess. It's just like Antioch, except Antioch took this and just like slathered marmalade on top of everything, so it became even worse. Not to mention we have those lightning effects that are flashing. It's very distracting.
So they only warp in zealots. They don't warp in any other units.
They didn't expect you to use a Stargate in this map.
They forgot to
Because-
disable it, I guess.
Yeah.
So now we get to watch this.
In that case. They just stand around. They don't like try to like recall their units or something simple like that. No, they just stand around because they are on their spawn points and that's it. Like writing and stuff aside, the gameplay in this is the worst of any RTS I've ever seen. Even worse than the first two fucking StarCraft 2 installations.
I might be at critical mass.
This was something you had to pay for, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
People paid for this. Just keep that in mind. People paid for this. You literally just go into InfoScepter and grab any random person's map off the forum back in the day. You had a much higher quality product than this. Because somebody actually, at least to some extent, gave a shit about what they were making, even if it was just the sole purpose of trolling something. At least they sat down and said, hey, I'm gonna make a game for the RTS StarCraft.
Like, there's not even you don't even have to build a structure over here or something. Like, you know, hold territory that maybe you get, you know, that there's some risk involved or something. Like, no, it's just...
If you wanted to make this about ground control, you'd have the enemies control them and do shit with them.
Yeah, but they don't even pick up these... I haven't picked up any of this gas at all. It's not even like they attack me with low gas units either. They've attacked me with Colossi and Stalkers and Void Rays.
I guess what can be extracted from this is that Tal'Darim anally huff beans. They can't eat beans because they got no mouths, but they stuff them into their anus. It's basically anally hazing with beans. That's where they get their gas from. It's very Canadian. Canadians love forcing things in their assholes too, especially American things. Americans like it big and Canadians like it big, just in sort of different ways. Americans like big things in their mouth. Canadians like big things in their anus.
They don't even get a shot off. So this outpost, I don't even think was responsible for spawning in units. It just is there to slow you down as you're progressing.
I mean, that describes this entire fucking mission.
Visual locations have been marked.
We actually have some anti-air in here, but not much. That looked good. There's not even. I don't even really know what.
Are they capable of picking them up? Like, you push the zealots over them, but they didn't seem to pick them up.
No, they don't. They're only pickupable by players.
You can't even be punished for ignoring now.
So I guess I don't need to be. Okay, the carrier finally attacked. I was almost able to just walk in here and kill the rock and then leave without doing anything. All three, by the way.
3. So it's gonna be 3. Once you realize that all these fucking games follow this college academic course that says things have to be in 3, you are gonna never unsee it. You're gonna see it in so many fucking things. The biggest example I can think of other than like Diablo 3 or World of Warcraft is actually Final Fantasy 14. Literally that entire game is in 3s. To the point it's just like this fucking meme. Not that it stops people from doing it. And once you realize everything is done in 3s, it takes all of the surprise out of everything. Because you can predict everything from plot to, you know, mission design to objective design and missions, and pretty much anything, down to 3.
Oh yeah, focus down those zealots, man.
It's kind of like the Wilhelm scream, if you're familiar with that. It's like this thing that people use because it's a resource. Like 3 is an academic resource, but it has been recognized so much and seen so much, and it's like inescapably toxic that you just don't want to use it anymore because of all the negative connotations surrounding it, except unlike the Wilhelm scream and the occasional retard who still thinks of themselves as an audio developer and uses it because they think they're funny, like on Obtainium. People still keep using 3 because if you don't use 3, you have to actually try to think about what you're doing. And what 3 is an opt-out of thinking. If I can just have some textbook tell me how to make a game, quote unquote, then why would I bother thinking about something that's already been done for me?
Then he shall be disappointed.
Oh, that's
my
dramatic.
cringe.
They only announced that after you practically, like, committed genocide against them. Destroying capital ships and bases and everything else all over the goddamn place. Only now do they actually seem to say anything beyond the very beginning. And it's something really unimaginative as usual. And really just comical in the face of the fact that you were literally just walking around with a handful of Void Rays killing every single thing they owned with him being... this is goofy, man. You know those lighthearted retro games on Steam that are supposed to be funny? Like, I guess Undertale would fit into that regard. They're supposed to be, like, cutesy and comedic. That's what this is. This is more genuinely entertaining as a comedy game than any, like Stick of Death or any other of these comedy games I've seen released in the last, decade.
Yeah,
I
just
don't think that was their intent, though.
I don't get it, man.
Marking the fissure locations now.
Shit over here, I guess. Powering up void lenses.
So let's say there's 2 Colossi, 2 Emeralds, 1 Carrier. In the first map, you opens up air units on containing Void Rays. You gave the player basically the Void Ray's favorite target times 3. 3. What did I fucking tell you? What did I fucking tell you? 3!
You know what? You need 3 minerals per patch.
Fuck off!
Oh, man. What is my objective in here? Oh, I have to breach the temple entrance.
You have to inhale the Prozac meth mixture.
I don't even know where their attacks are
Medicine
coming
made it
from.
special for you. You can't turn them down. That would be very rude. You don't want to be rude.
Like, there's
You're
a base over here.
This
somewhere.
cathedral of...
But it doesn't do anything. Oh, hi.
It inhales propane and propane accessories. Here's the zealot. Okay.
I was trying to put him in the, get him into that gas, but that's not like I need it anyway. Look at this shit. What are they doing? Look at all this stuff that's pre-placed on the map. That's doing nothing.
Hey man, this is an educational experience. Any of you guys ever thinking about making campaigns or stuff? Just look at these maps and say, this is what I don't do. If I don't do this, I can't end up with a really, really terrible map. I'll at least end up with an okay map, a competent map. Just always look to Blizzard as an example of what not to do. You really just can't go wrong. You don't always need to look at something as precisely what you got to do. If you're looking for examples to go by, you just do the invert. Like, Hitler should have just fucking not died. He had to go and die. Like, he didn't even leave behind like a clone or some other fucking hero we could have summoned
Rallied
to save
behind.
us from this tragedy. Just fucking died. Like, don't do that.
What's happening? Oh, shit!
Oh no, there's a scout.
I'm pretty sure they're training multiple
surrounded by
units per
meth.
factory, like as if they
Isn't
had a
Vespene gas
reactor.
supposed to be explosive?
It's gas, so I'm sure.
Like, wouldn't this entire fucking planet just light up from it being everywhere?
Especially since there's like war going on where people are shooting shit.
This is intense. This is such epic gameplay. I mean, at least 30 minutes into the map, they finally had a couple of Void Rays of their own.
Oh, they went down there just to come back up here and die to my cannons.
Probably a waypoint. I can't believe, I saw this huge map and I thought you'd at least be slogging through a giant wall of idle bases. But there isn't even that. It's literally just like individual pylons and a couple of units standing around them for the entire fucking map.
Detected in these locations.
Yep.
HKS wasn't kidding when he said these were fucking disastrous maps.
I saved them, dude. That's my epic expert macro.
Wow, that's so good. Did Artosis teach you how to play this game?
Our
No.
forces are closing upon the temple.
Watch out, dude. Sentries are the natural counter to Void Rays.
That thing is kicking the shit out of you.
Watch out, they're warping in Zealots!
What is wrong? What am I watching?
Zealots? Ay. Oh, I accidentally double chrono boosted that one. Oops.
You doubled it?
I
Metz
doubled it.
and Wilson are very happy to hear that.
So what the fuck am I, what is the threat here exactly? Because the AI is not threatening whatsoever. So, like, what is the
threat
defeat
is
condition?
yourself. This is psychological warfare against yourself. You have to survive not hanging yourself playing.
Checkpoint reached for some reason.
Well, it was a very difficult fight, man.
Oh, okay.
This is an epic battle. You could have lost.
That's true. Didn't think about it that way.
Like, what if you had lost power or something? You were a tornado, suddenly touched down and destroyed your outhouse. Well, then what'd you do?
Yeah, that's
You wouldn't have the checkpoint. You have to play through another fucking half hour of.
Oh no!
I can't
Save the
think of
zealot!
no fate worse than death. Oh no! Oh no!
Oh, he's saved! We got him, dude.
You saved Timothy.
Saving private retard, dude.
You saved Timothy.
All right, now he's gonna mine our gas for us.
Oh,
What
that's
a
lewd.
You know that when the Dahaka co-op commander came out, his Zerglings could harvest gas, and you only needed 2 per assimilator because they were faster than drones, and it took them about 2 months to fix that.
Well, that's because nobody plays their game. I'm sure there's way worse bugs than that in this title that nobody's discovered because nobody actually plays. It's kind of like Apple. You know, the meme that Apple doesn't have viruses. There's tons of viruses. It's just they run rampant because nobody uses Apple. And those that do, like the few people that do still stick with it, they have no fucking idea. Because they're just living under that delusion.
Yeah.
And some of the exploits out there are actually rather severe. And then, you know, Apple, whenever they encounter it, they just sweep it under the rug. If something isn't exposed, then it'd be absolute hell for the few people who do have to deal with it. Like when you could crash Apple devices with an Indian character.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was a Unicode Indian character would crash an Apple device. Like on any Apple operating system, I think, or many of them, like for example, iPads or iPhone. All you had to do was just have a web page or Discord or anything like that with the Indian character on it. So of course, being the responsible African-American gentleman that I am, I place that character in every place I can.
Yeah, of course. Remind people why they pay the big bucks to Apple to use their logo. Hi.
So this is the big epic main base.
Yep.
It's guarded by an immortal sentry.
Oh, there's a bunch of shit that's
cannon.
pre-placed in there that I have to destroy at some point. I'm
Yeah,
waiting
but
for
they're
more
not
reinforcements.
defending it though. They're just exploring the stretchiness of their anuses. There's only 2 bases on this map for you.
There's another one up here.
Your main
It
and then
it
what?
doesn't do anything though. There's no units that come out from it. I can show it to you.
I meant your expansions. I don't know if you can mine from there or not.
Yeah, you can.
So
They don't
then you have
actually.
3 bases.
I don't think they mine
That literally-
resources from it.
Of course they don't. They have infinite money.
Chosen.
So you throw 1 zealot in there, and they've got to send you a transmission because you entered the region because it's so epic. But it's 1 fucking zealot. Later followed by close the box. Yeah, you do that. It's so epic. And it's later followed by a horde of void rays. And I'm left wondering, like, why do we have these fucking voice dialogues based on locations?
What would you do
It'd be
instead?
based on their attacks, but the attack was already there.
You look back at this one void where he's executing things.
It must take a really high IQ to understand Blizzard. It's just too next level, man.
Yeah, so as you can see, these guys have been mining forever, and yet the resources, they mine one at a time. That's why they mine one resource at a time. So it's just just a bunch of
casuals who are
embarrassing.
very, very slow at the game are not punished for taking bases late. Because we need to be inclusive. This is the brutal difficulty, but we don't want to punish you for being garbage. Garbage at a game you don't even play.
So I guess maybe I was wrong about them not spawning attacks, because there was an attack wave in that base. It could have just been defense, but maybe they...
No, it looked like an attack wave. I mean, you're 36 minutes into the game. The fact they're not throwing 200 food armies at you is kind of disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, I've been under 100 food this entire time. Calibrating void lenses.
Like, from a lore perspective, it makes
Look
no
at all these
sense. These guys have a
colossi.
stronghold and control the resources. And yep, there's
Here.
they stand around watching your void rays just effortlessly annihilate everything they own one at a time. Oh, you aggro the carrier. The void ray is just gonna chill out though, no problem. Oh, there's another carrier. Oh no, he's coming! He's coming, you better watch out! Oh, so epic! Oh my god. Oh my god. Defend against the void rays with our immortals. Oh, there's one stalker. Oh, here's another void ray. Here's another void ray. Hey, you know, if all these units had actually moved up to you at once, maybe there would have been a fight.
No.
But they didn't, so...
This is what this past 36 minutes have been building up to.
Yeah.
They don't even have warp gates on the map, so how are they warping Unison?
I just assume that they rub their ass cheeks together enough to create enough friction to open a hole in time. I mean, that's what Metzen would tell me. He would say, hey man, those Protoss with their anuses, man, they so tight. Shit, dog, you got no idea how tight a Protoss asshole is. It's just like a York.
Attack to destroy.
Attack to destroy. We got a big red indicator there to show us what we gotta do, because we don't know, because we're so fucking stupid. Attack
up,
to
dude.
destroy.
Check out all these colossi that could have shown up at any point to attack me, but didn't.
There's a probe explosion graphic they upscaled 1,000 times.
Yes, but the Tal'Darim are not known to take defeat lightly. They will come to rescue their High Lord.
Come.
And in force.
Go, Zeratul. Find the answers you seek within the temple.
You know,
Our blades shall grant you the time you need.
she was with him, talking to him in the previous cinematic and board the Terran space station, being assaulted by Zerg and about to be annihilated, and he wasn't cloaked and nobody gave two fucks, and now she isn't there and she's still— what the fuck?!
Enemy units killed 318.
The fucking stalkers just...
Yeah, they blink in and spin.
They walk into that tap.
You would think if you were going to make it so that they're blinking in for some reason instead of just walking in, why wouldn't they blink and then vanish? While they move forward and then blink? You know? To like make it seem like they're moving and then they blink in and okay, they're gone now? That's how they entered the temple? No. They didn't even do that. They made it so that they fucking spin and rub up against areas that shouldn't have collision, but do.
So earlier, last night when I was playing Skyrim and doing my Skyrim recordings, I was walking around this player built town. It's called Blackmore or whatever. And for some reason, nothing in it was linked to everybody. I was just running around stealing everything, including the horse outs. So I mounted onto the horse and I went back into town because like 50 fucking bandits spawned outside and I was gonna get one-shotted by them. So I like walked into the house on the horse, and I walked around a staircase and I immediately sunk into the ground and got trapped in there. So I managed to get out with the horse, and then I was on top of a building and I dismounted and I just sunk right back into the ground again. And I'm like sitting there staring at these moments of absolute, unbelievable, insane, colossal absurdity. And I'm thinking, holy shit, the people who put this together had no fucking idea what was going on. They obviously never tested this thing they threw in there. But it's like some fucking bozo in the middle of butt-fuck nowhere, like South Africa, like clanging code together with a bunch of watermelon husks. Like, who fucking knows what he actually like has in skills? So, you know, maybe it's not going to be polished or whatever, and you can kind of understand that. But then we walk into Blizzard Entertainment with multiple $1 billion on their belt, ass invasion literally giving them their butt cheeks as a cushion, Metzen snorting enough cocaine to keep the whole Mexican fucking cartel afloat for years and years and years on end. Metzen's fucking co-worker Jay Wilson, whose chins are so fucking doubled he could literally build a skyscraper out of dragon dildos. And we get stalkers that blink into a fucking building and then spin around on an angle and plain fucking sight.
And
which
then
is
vanish.
so avoidable by just giving them a basic blink ability or play an effect that just hides them or blinks off screen. Like this fucking brain dead shit you first fucking think of when you build this fucking cinematic in your head as choreography is, how do I make it so the stalkers don't blink into something? You see them plain fucking sight spinning around.
Yeah, because of Pathfinder.
But we don't do that because we don't.
I gotta piss. Be right back.
We don't fucking care. What actual kitty fucking Christ? Why have I been forced to endure this again? I've already seen Cinemax, so it was enough to scar me for life. I'm watching this again. I'm watching an autistic Middle Eastern man flog himself with a series of dismembered horsecocks that have been strung together with pubic hair. That's what I'm watching. This is like the 4th of July all over again. I don't fucking understand, man. What is this fucking Pennsylvania hell I've been transported into? Why can't it just all be fucking Nova X fucking Kerrigan Fuda? Why do we have to bring in the plants?
They're
I've seen
gassed
enough
up.
fucking JPEGs of people stuffing cactuses in their assholes to know where this is going.
Look at
this.
Oh, look, more Fresnel. They just put
So this is actually a
fucking
wallpaper?
Fresnel on now.
I don't even remember if this is official art. It really would pain me if that is.
It doesn't look like it's a fucking screenshot with Fresnel on it.
No, this is official
And-
art. I mean, this is a wallpaper. It's like drawn. It's not actually these models
Well,
don't exist
it
in the
looks
game.
like a fucking like the temple is low poly as fuck.
Yes. The
This
temple
isn't
does
art.
look like a model in the game, but these two are not there. See, what really gets me about this too is that this looks like it's meant to be a focused part of the image. Like if you take away the HUD, the image itself, the foreground is clearly meant to focus on like the Colossus and the Stalker, with this being the background, right? And yet they block the part of the focus by putting this portrait here. It's just a complete disaster.
Like I said, the whole thing's a goddamn disaster. And the temple is literally just a fucking screenshot. Like, even if somebody painted over this, they painted over a fucking screenshot from the game.
Yeah.
And they copied all the low-res ass geometry and everything to go with it.
What's the other really disgusting part about this is that this was I'm pretty sure I've seen a version of this image where the Protoss are the Colossus and the Stalker are actually the normal Colossus and Stalker. So they're like regular, gold-plated Protoss instead of this fucking red edgy shit. So it feels like they just did a recolor in Photoshop.
Man, gold-plated is fucking classist.
Yeah, that's true. All right, let's play a micro mission.
No. Oh, fuck.
See, look at that. Read that tip.
Zeratul is a powerful hero unit with special abilities. You can select him by pressing F3. Who the fuck uses F3?
Just assign him to a control group, for Christ's sake. Or click the icon in the upper left corner of the screen. F3. Nobody
Colon
uses
3.
the F keys for this shit. It's so fucking inconvenient on most of these newer keyboards.
Temple, they will be upon us shortly. Seal the
Oh
access.
god, those organic
I
clips.
will contact the master. As the blade of Amon will.
The master.
Then he spins around and with less than a second, no turn
Oh
delay
look,
at all.
he's emitting red from his USB-M blue hand.
Tool, the Tal'Darim are retaliating. Hybrid are assaulting our forces. Have you made it into the temple safely?
Indeed, but the access way has been sealed. The Tal'Darim likely suspect an intrusion.
My Templar are engaged with the enemy. You will have to continue on alone for now. I will do my best to monitor your movements.
You know, I get that the original voice actor for Zeratul died and all, which is really unfortunate. But you could have at least tried to replicate the old voice effects and not these Gold Wave default.
You address me.
Because
He also doesn't sound like the same-
2 is it's so fucking over-engineered.
Just listen to his unit responses.
I will erase the demons of the past.
It doesn't even sound the same.
It sounds like an entirely different person.
Shozak Maknul.
Pretty sure these are the ones from Wings of Liberty.
My burdens weigh heavily.
This is intense.
He's talking about his burdens. He's got to be like fucking
Not rest until my atonement.
foreshadowing about how hard he works and how many dicks he...
I press on with renewed purpose.
Wow. So epic.
I will not falter.
Ah, Todd.
Will
XD my prophecy. I'm trying to get a feel for what the fuck is supposed to be happening here. It
The
looks
only
like
one who's
there's a
gonna
bunch
get
of
a feel of
Vespene.
Zeratul is he cops a feel.
Shozak Maknul.
Ah yes, we walk 5 feet and then we...
Get another cinematic.
Unto the void.
Void. See, that line kind of makes sense because then he's saying, like, just eradicate them. But then we start using void for things that are actually things and... Well...
What do I do?
Well... if you happen to have a fork on hand, what I would recommend you do is you place it into your belly button and you twist and twist and twist and twist and twist.
That's
You
how I get
have-
the spaghetti.
You have a unit that you have used for micro missions in the previous expansion with Blank. You have the basic stalker that they've advertised Blank on as being some kind of super elaborate, ultra high definition, 4K, 60 FPS, Twitch TV founded fucking shit. As being so revolutionary and epic, he's really just ripped right out of Warcraft 3. Just Blink, just teleport. Okay, yeah. And then now here, you know, 2020, when it is perfectly legal to attach a child to your face and identify as a pedophile and run for president. And we have the buttons blinking to tell you to use them and a white indicator with a completely different font style than everything else in the game that says, cast Blink. Across the most obvious of fucking barriers that every single one of your unit has a sole ability that says it teleports on. Because we just assume our audience is so fucking stupid that they can't even read tooltips on their own unit's abilities in a map with literally no time pressure whatsoever.
Will erase the demons of the past.
This is the state of 2018, ladies and gentlemen.
State thy bidding.
The fuck? I lost against that group? How the fuck did that happen? Those sons of bitches. We'll fucking show you the power of retrofit and 20,000 damage.
Oh, now they're
Oh
gone.
shit, man, this is such an epic battle. It's convenient how it drops as soon as you come over there. This is very Antioch. I can see what they were going for. They really wanted that genuine Blizzard experience, and seeing this, I think they obtained it. Process of standing around cleaning your nutsack with a toilet brush. I think the unfortunate thing is I actually missed some exercises because I was running the D&D game. Missed out on my meat.
But if I enshroud us in void armor, we will be protected from its
Void armor.
Nothing armor.
It's just a green aura from Warcraft. And then those doodads, like they've got this Team Fortress 2 rip-off graphics for the ground textures, and then you've got the doodads with their super sharp specularity. It's getting late, so my English is going to be even worse than normal for Canadian. Oh shit, it's glowing red indicator!
Slay it quickly before it tears through your stalkers.
Slashes an enemy
Standing
unit
there, it's
for
not tearing through
500
anything.
damage.
Let me guess, he uses this generic animation.
Yeah, he just spins.
Oh my god, it's that animation. They always gotta spin. The meat has got to spin. And you know, this is the exact same fucking mission we had in Wings of Liberty, too. Where we had Zeratul and Stalkers blanking around like it's some kind of fucking accomplishment of game.
The Tal'Darim have constructed anti-air cannons on the temple ramparts. Destroy them, Zeratul.
Oh, I remember those. I had a hell of a time fucking mastering those because their animations are such a damn mess. So it's even more of a mess in the game. Because the way it turns, it looks so weird. It looks like it turns too fast. And it only turns when it's charging, too. Oh, it just feels unnatural.
Check out my micro mission, dude.
Wow, man, that's epic.
And it's not like what really gets me about this is it's not shooting anything.
Nope, this shoots nothing.
Well done. I am sending you reinforcements now.
It was epic. This is a very epic game, man.
Wow.
The gun's big, so it's epic, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is very American.
Doesn't seem very practical.
Well, that's what they said about Dragon Dildos too, and yeah, those are very popular. I know people have attempted to use them and they said it's not very practical, but hey man, it's a business. It's novelty. Just like Hitler's railgun was kind of novelty.
Just, you know, hang. Don't need to do anything.
Why would you need to do anything? It's a micro mission.
Oh man.
We all know that these are built for people with like 20 APM. They wouldn't actually have actual micro in these games, otherwise nobody would be able to do them. Like if you walked into a Broodmore mission where they said, hey, you've got to do dancing vultures and, you know, attack me with Corsairs and shit, and like, you know, run away from Scourge or whatever, you wouldn't find anybody in the StarCraft 1 community for maps that could actually play them.
Well, that's basically what Flame Knives was.
No, Flame Knives. Flame Knives was pink as gas.
Oh yeah, that's true.
You know, the thing about these stealth missions that always gets me is, oh, okay, you can't see the guy killing your dudes, but you know he's fucking there because your friends are getting stabbed. So you would at least run or try to do something. Try to put distance between you and this guy, trying to make some kind of advantage, you know, drag him into detection, something. And yes, an observer patrols over here eventually, but all the zealots are literally just fucking standing there picking their dicks as you kill them. There's no life to this whatsoever.
Well, no, that's not even true. The observer does not patrol over here. I just aggroed a Void Ray.
Oh, okay. Void. And the rest of them just chill out as nobody cares. It's the Hybrid Destroyer!
Hey! Oh, and then he tries to return to his original spot. No, Hybrid doesn't, though. Hybrid is above such behavior.
The Hybrid is hyper intelligent. Oh shit, he shot a ball. Like,
yeah.
this is what happens when you don't use actual AI scripts. is you kind of run into issues with base behavior that becomes super easy to exploit. Like it makes sense that the units would return to their original point, you know, as idle units. But when it comes to like gameplay mechanisms,
oh yeah, Zeratol's a detector in this
anybody's gonna
mission.
exploit that.
Marines' cannons lies ahead.
Don't ask me why.
We just gotta destroy the Dark Templar.
Scouts are pretty useful. What? Why did he start running away?
I see. Well done. Reinforcements.
What the
are
fuck?
inbound.
That like might make sense if he could actually accelerate, but now we get Archons. I mean, Templar. Ah, look at this beacon.
Oh shit! It's a beacon. The screen is
Zeratul
shaking.
here.
It's so epic.
This is the only map that I get any
performance.
performance in.
This alcove overlooks the central chamber.
That's because there's literally like 10 triggers and some cinematics.
Is hidden.
Wow, so spooky. The flat fucking fog line.
Yeah.
Because it's just a
It's
literal
just
billboard.
bleeds into the fucking cliffs.
Those buildings do not look like they belong with the terrain at all. They're completely different colors and brightness. So epic.
Wow, that was pretty good.
It's red and shaking the screen. Whenever you want something to be epic, just shake the screen.
These intruders here. The great work is in jeopardy. Abandon.
Let's have the most cliche dialogue we can imagine, where even Saturday morning cartoons are cringing out of their fucking skin.
Your universe will be freed of its suffering. Ready your people for war and await my command. It will be done.
If you ever need an example of how not to write dialogue, that's it right there.
War.
Beautiful example of how to make a dialogue between two characters not only incredibly predictable, but entirely unenthusiastic and uninspired.
With Amon.
Yes.
If the voice acting was any good,
We can delay Amon's forces.
not that you can really blame them.
I will see it done.
I mean, when you're voicing such generic, watered-down, distilled dialogue, it's very hard to be engaged in it as a...
The dark prelate is near.
You really need a character's lines to be alive, to give them life as an actor. It's a two-person equation between the writer and the actor, and there weren't any people working on this game, so just spin around.
Get juked, idiot. I stormed them thinking that the observer would come with and get destroyed, but unfortunately I was wrong.
You address the
It's okay, you stood in your own storm, so
Oh yes, High Templar
epic.
have an attack so that they don't mindlessly walk into death on accident.
because we don't want our players to have to use control groups or anything.
Hi.
I will require my life.
I don't even remember. Oh, yeah, something really silly does happen at the end of this mission that you'll, I think you'll
Something
appreciate.
More silly than the rest of it.
What?
Well, this is a Blizzard product. And then they just fade out. And then he doesn't even try to go anywhere afterwards. It's just his idle position there. That's one tanky observer.
Oh, good storm, I guess.
This is the best storm. I can't get over how bad Sonic Storm looks too. Like,
Yeah.
when such a simple to make effect looks that bad, it's kind of telling of the rest of the game. Especially coming from Warcraft 3. Warcraft 3 most
Why are they
certainly was, like,
green?
above
Dude, he
and
morphed.
beyond
He's
the
green,
best.
and he's gonna turn red. Oh, I'm losing frames now.
And that was like pissing into my own mouth.
This should be the last of the
It's pretty consistent, I have to admit.
What?
My allegiance.
This game is like pissing into my mouth.
Oh.
This is so fucking terrible. What a fucking joke, man. That's Dark Templar attacking animation. That's one of the worst animations in the game. All the animations for Dark Templar are horrible, but that's one of the worst. I just can't get how you can make something look so unenthusiastic. They just lacked passion for their craft so much that they just couldn't be bothered to make an attack animation look like an attack animation.
Oh!
You address me?
Bye. Bye. Oof, ah! I don't get it, man. How did they manage to make it so bad?
This is so fucking dull. He's just auto-attacking through a fucking map, pushing abilities on cooldown, and that's it. We haven't begun playing a game since we started these missions.
Corner? We're attacking into you!
The true God demands their death. Do not fail him.
Oh, I centered myself by accident.
Like, this is supposed to be the high difficulty,
Yeah,
and you
this is
outnumber your opponents in a micro map. And the enemies don't do anything that requires you to actually micro. Oh, maybe this guy will.
No, he's just a stat ball.
Oh, it's just one of those. It's just one of those ultra green colors.
You address me?
Oof. See, what's funny is you think maybe I'm losing too many units for what happens after this, but no, you get a scripted amount of enemy units, or losses, I guess, as a result of a cutscene. You'll see. Oh, look, that the fucking Immortal's just sitting there. Like, we've kept all of our Templar alive as an example. Oh, what the fuck? I don't remember this being here. Why is that even there? Where would that come into play? Ah, Void Catalyst, by the way.
Void.
It's just jizzed.
Jizz.
The Tal'Darim are severed from Amon's guidance.
You don't sound very fucking proud of that.
Fluctuation of void energies.
Nothing energies.
Well, here we are. Now we're stepping into fucking Star Wars territory, and we just make up words.
Seraphim,
Oh, that looks great.
the keystone shall usher you unto hope. Tassadar.
They have to call the familiar voice, and he calls it Tassadar, and it sounds nothing like it.
Talus, I have been granted a vision from beyond. The answer to our salvation.
Maybe you would say the answer to our problems? Ah, oh, fuck! Coomed! See? You always end up with 4 stalkers.
It's that life drain effect from the Wings of Liberty map.
And
Dark voice. The
Soul
screen
burns.
shake is really awful.
I must leave now.
Oh.
I'll just turn off my cloaking while I'm discussing to you guys.
Oh!
My warriors and I
They couldn't have found a voice.
Shadow
more
of
unlike-
the Void!
make your way to us now.
Like it's those Earth elementals from World of War that appear to be recolored.
It keeps
archives
screen
or
shaking.
something.
Oh.
This archway has collapsed. I
This
must
is so
find
epic.
another exit quickly. Seize your
You sound pretty concerned, man.
epic.
Oh.
resistance.
Shut up, idiot.
Let me free you.
Ha, I'm out of detection, lol. But yeah, Shadow
this
of the
is
Void.
dramatic. This is an epic chase. I've got those recolored Urkons that look like something out of World of Warcraft. We've got the guys standing around. Got the lone observer that finds you and does a script to follow you, and then goes over there and
Way is clear. Talus, I am nearly upon you.
You. Why are these guys just sitting here?
Why not?
Your signal now.
Hi.
There's no time, Zeratul. Make your escape. I will deal with the Tal'Darim.
There must be another way.
And yes, she just sits here.
Now,
There must be another way.
occurred this day.
Sorry, I accidentally put in more emotion than him. Emotions scare the casual audience. That's been the running theory why Blizzard doesn't put emotion into voice acting, is because they actually are concerned it would scare.
So, this is the fight. She's immortal. And we've got 2 minutes to sit here and watch this.
But I should mention that one of the main reasons why Blizzard doesn't hire voice actors, other than for specific roles in this game, is actually because of union.
Talus, our people.
Unions are a special kind of cancer. Now his Void Seeker looks different, and they use that same fucking trigger for the screen shake over and over and over, and his Void Seeker looks completely different.
Enemy units killed. 133.
You killed 133 defenseless interns. I want you to think about yourself. What you've done to me.
Now it's red.
At last, the prophecy
Okay.
has been realized. And through a great sacrifice, we
Well, that's high res.
Sure is.
vision from the Zelnaga
Nice scarf.
aid us in averting
His neck is like
It's just it just clipped
64
through
by
his
64
fucking...
tops.
return to my people.
Oh, let's go into his high res hand too. Oh,
Wow,
there's
that's a good
lens
ribbon,
flares.
or whatever that fuck that is. Jesus Christ.
It's like a cylinder.
Stand for only Artanis
He'll make them understand. There's a green lens flare again.
can unite
With the other lens flare, very washed out.
before Amon's wrath engulfs the galaxy.
Good Christ. Can't believe I just fucking watched that.
My cursor is now spinning. I think
Why
the
do you
game has
do
stopped
that to me?
responding. Oh. Oh. Anime. Oh. So, that was the primer. Nice little opener.
I feel disgusted. I can't believe anybody would pay for this shit. Why would you pay? Well, I guess... I think swap.avi was a commission, wasn't it? Someone paid for that, didn't they? So that's kind of what's going on here, too, is somebody paid for swap.avi to the revenge. And this is where we ended up. This tragic, tragic disaster where a single intern was yanked off the street and said, hey, you got a day to make three maps with objectives about 3. And then tell this guy, you know, you gotta make it about StarCraft, you gotta check out StarCraft 1, you gotta check out StarCraft 2, you gotta make it an evolution of the gameplay, you gotta be about challenging the player because it's the brutal difficulty. They didn't tell him any of this stuff. And they threw him in there. He'd never used anything before. They handed him PowerPoint, they handed him a stylus, they handed him an Apple iWatch, and they said, here's your tools, make your campaign, you've got 2 hours. And then this is what we ended up with. This. And what this is like, you like eating shit. You know, you're into that scat thing. And you know, each kind of shit tastes differently because it's whatever the person ate. You got nutty shit, you got spicy shit, you got Canadian shit that's so watered down doesn't have flavor to it at all. And then you got this. And when you taste this, you go catatonic. Because it's like an explosion of absolute horrendous disgust. And I mean, you eat shit. You eat shit. You're used to shit being disgusting. It's literally shit. Everything that was once valuable about the food that turned into shit's already been digested. You're literally given the absolute refuse of the refuse. That's what shit is. It's useful as a fertilizer, not terribly useful for eating in cuisine. But for some twisted reason, you're into this. But with StarCraft 2... even as somebody who eats shit for a living, you find yourself absolutely appalled. And that's the average person who plays digital entertainment. That's always their response to this. is they just are revolted. I've never met a single person who genuinely believed that these campaigns were only any good at all. I've never met a single person who genuinely believed that this company had any decent writing in it at all. The most I've ever seen anybody say, which I agree with, is that Wings of Liberty had some build and destroy maps in it that were at least passable as like alpha level content. For example, the space platform map towards the end, if you decided to attack the air stuff. Then you were given a build and destroy map in which there was 3 enemy bases, there was a bunch of expansions all over the place. They didn't function like a build and destroy, they didn't have defense or anything like that still, but at least you were talking about a large-scale macro map with multiple expansions. You were actually kind of playing StarCraft 2. And StarCraft 2 wasn't a strong game or anything, but you were actually sat down with no time limits, and you're actually given the tools to play an RTS. What we just fucking watched was a game whose missions were released years after that, in which you would have expected them to become more feature complete and more polished. Let's say that the staff who made Wings of Liberty had no fucking idea what they were doing whatsoever, because they didn't. There was not a single fucking person in Wings of Liberty who had any idea what was going on whatsoever. Maybe Kim. Maybe, arguably, at best. He was like C or something mediocre on iCup, whatever. But then they had producers saying it took 3 High Templar to make an Archon and all this other incredibly embarrassing stuff. People didn't know what they were even doing. Browder had literally never made a game before. He made Command and Conquer Generals. That wasn't a game. That was like comedy. That was stand-up comedy at best. And I played Command and Conquer and talked to plenty of people who played Command and Conquer competitively. Plenty of people who played Dawn of War competitively. Brother's a fucking joke and the games are a fucking joke and nobody takes anything seriously whatsoever. Doesn't mean he can't have fun with them. It's just that the person who slapped this crap together wasn't in a position to be hired by a company who many had believed to have basically a Herculean task on their hands to make StarCraft 2. And they failed at that miserably. But that was yesterday, and this is today with Legacy of the Void and its precursor campaign, Whispers of Oblivion! And what did they do with Whispers of Oblivion? Did they look back at Wings of Liberty, figure out what worked and what didn't work? No, they just kept repeating the same fucking mistakes over and over and over and over again and tried to obscure all the horrendous things that went wrong. Like, for example, the load screens and the cinematics with lens flares and lens dirt. And like I was mentioning at the end of the mission, I had some extended conversations with individuals because a lot of this stuff is really being brought up because of the recent BlizzCon disaster, is how fucked Blizzard actually is to make a difference about this. Because it's like impossible to say that there's no person in Blizzard who wants to see some kind of positive change. Like, you can't imagine a company full of this many, interns dragged out of the street. Not a single person wants to see something positive comes out of this. I think everybody wants to see something positive comes out of it. Whether or not they have their head on their shoulders correctly or not is up for debate. But the thing is Blizzard is bound by so many laws and shit that it like the whole fucking Games Workshop thing with the Cerebrits.
That really buckles me because it just doesn't. That seems so insane. And if you
that's what they deal with. That's
a real thing,
American
and it
games
is
industry, especially.
Like, what else are they bound by behind the fucking scenes?
So much shit you can imagine. I don't know on hand. But is Blizzard? Do you know if Blizzard is a private or a public company?
Wait, what? Can you repeat that?
Is Blizzard a private or a public company?
I'm pretty sure they're public, aren't they?
Because I believe that public companies, the CEOs can actually just be forced out by their investors at the very least. So what happens is I wasn't explaining this in detail, but so your company has investors and shareholders, and I believe, at least as far as America is concerned, I may be wrong, but this is what I was told offhand, is that it's actually illegal to cost them money. So if you release a product, let's say you release StarCraft 1, and you sold 1,000 copies, and then you release StarCraft 2, and you sold, 900 copies, just a number, you can actually be sued for that. Because you've made less money, now you lost money as a result, and you're costing your investors' money. That's actually grounds for litigation in America.
So they are public, and I should have known that anyways because it's possible to buy their stocks. So obviously they have to be. But I just confirmed it because it's on Wikipedia, so it must be true.
So that's obviously just like I'm not remotely educated in the subject enough to really talk in depth in it. But that's just like the tip of the insanity, the absolute tip of the insanity. Your job is entirely at the mercy of your investors and shareholders. Your company's future is entirely at the mercy of your investors and shareholders. So let's look at StarCraft 2. Let's look at the evolution of StarCraft 2 from Wings of Liberty to this point. So when StarCraft 2 was announced, you had the marketplace. We've talked to great lengths about the marketplace. I'm not going to go into it. But there was a promise of the marketplace. A bunch of nobodies tried to jump on ship thinking they were going to make money off of it. It didn't happen. They left because they had no reason to make custom content other than try to nickel and dime people. And now, today, we have this insanity. And we're looking on the right side of the screen is literally just Bloodbath with a bunch of pre-placed units. And but we didn't have that initially.
Glazes! Holy shit!
We didn't have this initially.
Look, there's literally... I can't believe that there's actually no terrain, though. That is...
No. What that map is units that auto-attack into each other. If you're familiar with Castle Fight, those styles of maps are very, very similar. It's units auto-attack into each other, and that's it. So I've played actually a very, very large amount of Castle Fight. In very recent times, in fact, I've played Warcraft 3 every second week for years and years and years and years and years. And Castle Fight was a map we played quite often. And Castle Fight visually is far more advanced than this map. And hasn't been updated in countless years. And that's Warcraft 3, by the way.
So you can play this without paying for it, but you get... extra game modes and cosmetic upgrades. That's how they're monetizing this?
So this is what I was talking about. So where StarCraft 2 came out, and it was just, the campaign, whatever quality it was, you had a campaign. And then you had the multiplayer, so, like StarCraft 1. But obviously, because of StarCraft 2 eliminating mods and stuff like that, it was very much about pushing for that microtransaction engine. Everybody saw that coming from a mile away. Because this is the thing. There is only so much revenue you can get out of initial sales. And a lot of these games pull colossal initial sales despite being objectively absolute trash. Sonic 2006, for example, I believe it had like 800,000 sales or something within the first couple of months just within the US. So that's absolutely insane considering Sonic 2006 was all pre-existing assets, pre-existing engine, everything. Like the actual budget for that game had to have been just in the 3-digit, like seriously speaking. It was just rushed out as fast as possible. Nobody gave two fucks. That was it. It was all assets from other games like Sonic Adventure and stuff like that. But the thing is it made a huge amount of income, right? Because you made so many sales. So that's the basis you've got to set now. But that's a Japanese sourced game, and this is the US. So not being particularly familiar with Japanese, we still see a lot of similar trends where a game comes out and it no longer is deemed successful, not because it did not sell well, but because it didn't sell as well, aka better, because it has to always be better and bigger than the previous release. So the best way to gain sales and revenue out of something is to throw in microtransactions that people can apologize for, and try to socially engineer yourself a market that will buy into microtransactions, because microtransactions like these arcade maps, they're, financially speaking, from a developer to a consumer standpoint, you can make an infinitely more amount of money off of a microtransaction than you can off of an actual product. That's what makes this so successful, because think about it. When you buy a game, like even today on Steam, you buy a title like Canadian, most of the games are like $80, $90 right now. That's fucking insane. But if you think about it, like let's say you buy the Grand Theft Auto with Horses 2. The actual value of every single asset in that game is within pennies at the absolute best. Because you're not paying each individual developer to make, a horse model and the horse model's textures and its, testicles and the physics for the testicles and all this other stuff they developed instead of an actual game. You're paying for the final product. You're paying a product as a consumer.
Yeah, games are already overpriced to fuck
Yeah.
as it stands, and you want to slap
Well,
additional.
this is independent of that. This is
Yeah,
independent of that. This is the thing. This is the shape of the market and where the market has gone. You're paying for the final product. You know, whatever that payment is, that's the sum of the product, presumably. So as a consumer, you're entitled to having a product that is competitive in terms of its quality and its content compared to other products and products previous to it. So the investors, they feel that they're entitled to, you know, seeing success out of the developer that they've invested in. They placed money into you. They feel that they're entitled that you will continue to improve upon that investment and continue to be more and more and more and more successful. But this is the thing. This is the hole you get into with this garbage. Is if your staff is as incompetent as Blizzard's, and you don't like hiring new staff, you don't like training new staff, you don't really like running that mill, like Blizzard has a habit of just, you know, outsourcing when they can to DeviantArt and these companies who make their cinematics and leak their shit and stuff like that. What becomes the most profitable way to make a lot of money without actually putting in any effort? Microtransactions, obviously. So you have these maps that are comparatively no effort at all compared to the end product. Like, even if one of these people who made one of these premium maps invested in 2,000 hours into making this map, that's not Blizzard's time. They didn't have to pay them for that. What happens is that they're monetizing Blizzard's assets that they've already typically sold, except for the free version of the game, which is, you know, the fact that their assets aren't actually have any market value anyways, it still results as a net gain to them. They've already gotten all the sales up of the game they're really going to say. The Excel sheet says, hey, we're at the down curve of the bell curve for our game sales. Let's make it free and make a publicity statement out of it. We pull in this much traffic, and if this much traffic decides to buy into premium arcade or whatever, we actually make a net gain by making your game free. Now it becomes about gaming the system, about gaming the market, about socially engineering people to find it acceptable for paying for a fucking map in a game whose all of its content you already own anyways. For paying for a fucking map. Some people are going to apologize for it and say, well, I'm supporting the developer. But for the vast majority of it, people impulse buy without thinking about it whatsoever. So you have these games that sell these vehicle skins or gun skins, let's say at a temperamental price of $5 or $6 a piece. You know, without getting into the insanity of CSGO and all this other shit. Let's say a temperamental price, if you buy a weapon in a game for $5, the actual development profit value for that starts exceeding like thousands of %. Because normally when you're buying a completed product, you're not paying $5 for every gun in the game. You're paying $5 for every single gun in the game and everything. But if we suddenly turn gun into an individual piece of content, we rip it out of the base game and say, hey, you pay $5 for this. If 1% of our audience pays $5 for this one extra gun we ripped out that costed us, you know, a tiny fraction of our marketing budget, we have just made such an insane amount of profit that our investors are really going to be patting our backs. So this is the evolution of StarCraft 2. You go from StarCraft 2's release, where they split it up into individual segments to fill it with as much filler as possible so they could bloat it out, make as many sales as possible, and say, hey, StarCraft 2 sold this many copies total, so it was more successful than StarCraft 1. And then they throw in the war chests, the co-op commanders, all this fucking microtransactions shit that is so massively overpriced in comparison to its actual development cost that no actual consumer who actually pays attention to expending their money could justify that. Never could they justify that. Ever. No matter how much they love Blizzard or not. Yes, the cheese on his face is insane. And the other thing is that anybody who's actually experienced with making assets or knows anything about custom content creation is always going to point out that, hey, the DLC is always lower quality than everything else. Like, all the StarCraft 2 war chest stuff is just kit bashes.
I don't even know where I would go to look at those.
I don't know. I see it on their launcher every now and then.
Yeah, I'm in a load screen to get to a different part of the menu.
Like, those kit bashes are literally like 15-20 minutes of work. And that's coupling with reverse engineering too. Like, when you have the source
Wait, they're
assets,
marketing
this stuff
a
is
dead
so
guy?
fucking fast to slap together. Yep. Yeah, they're turning a PR statement out of Total Biscuit.
What? Oh, here they are.
I think a lot of people would actually consider that very risky too, because Total Biscuit was, I believe, to some extent actually outspoken against the exact same kind of marketing practices that I'm discussing right now.
Wait, what
And,
the?
a lot of
There's
people think
comics?
that he was as a result.
Wait, okay, we're getting off topic here. Sorry, I don't mean to. Keep
Yeah, well,
this is
the
just-
comics are another example of this. Like you notice, like when the franchise is dead, when the IP is dead, you start making comics. You start trying to blanket shell everything, throwing cheap labor at everything and to try to get those apologists to snap it up. People who literally buy anything because they just love StarCraft 2 so much. Whether it be a shitty skin they're never going to use in the game or a comic they're never going to read, they just want to identify as part of that crowd, that StarCraft 2 crowd that they imagine is out there, and then that's it. And to be fair, that Marine model looks a hell of a lot better than most of the Marine models in the game. Because it doesn't have the fucking smokestacks on his back. And the thing is, this shit is so easy to slap together because they didn't bother to make animations for this game. It's just stuff copy-pasted off of a CD they didn't bother to update. The meshes are extremely low quality. The textures are just, pulled out of fucking tutorial for making that grunge scratch and then just copy-pasting a million fucking times. I mean, just throw random green and shit onto it and copy-paste pieces of doodads onto it like with this fucking dropship. And this shit is so busy. So you have the occasional person who plays competitively and says, hey, this model makes the game harder to raid for my enemies, so I'm going to use it. And that's another place you can get some nice sales off.
Yeah, people were complaining that there was no option to disable them.
No. There's some people complaining that different graphic settings result in such different stuff, and it's certainly such a legitimate complaint too, because StarCraft 2 is so messed up no matter how you look at it. The thing is that those market practices, like the entire point is that those market practices actually become necessary. Because of the legal web you've kind of worked yourself in by A, being a public company, B, owing a lot to your investors, and probably complicated shit I couldn't even begin to understand from my standpoint, where it enters a point where you actually are basically forced to make these decisions, and you're forced to develop your product like this, because if you don't, you could actually risk losing your entire company. It can be yanked out right from under your feet, if not, like, entirely collapsing. So, on one hand, it's very easy to pin the blame on Blizzard from the angle of just that they're lazy and greedy, because they are very lazy and greedy. But it's also that they've worked themselves into this hole. Like, they're responsible for this. It was their decision to become involved in this shit. And you have the occasional people like Brevik blaming Activision and being like, hey, Blizzard's Activision merger is the reason for all this. No, it fucking isn't. I'm sure Activision contributes a lot of salt to the soup, but Blizzard had gone to shit long before Activision became involved. Activision was their fucking publisher forever. Blizzard's failures are all their own fault.
Yeah, I can't really see the connection with Activision. I'm sure it accelerated their demise, but it's pretty obvious that they were going downhill.
I've had people from Blizzard tell me that it's not Activision, as if to insinuate there's other, like, far-reaching problems than just Activision. And I'm more inclined to believe them than some random salty person on YouTube, because it's people I knew for fucking. And I mean, I'm looking at the end product and I'm saying the exact same thing. Like, Activision didn't tell them to make this big of a mess. I'm pretty sure Activision would have preferred that they made something that didn't look like a big of a mess. But, I mean, I'm sure Activision had roles to play in the development and deployment of these microtransaction systems. I'm sure that Activision had roles to play in staffing changes and stuff like that. But regardless of Activision's involvement, Blizzard was well on this road already. Just because of how they handled their fucking relationship with Condor and how utterly butthurt Blizzard's employees are about Condor. The frigging, like, Jay Wilson blow up and all this other shit, that's a result of how jealous they are of Condor.
At least we got Mecha.
I just can't, like, I can look past the graphics and the writing and all this other shit, so long as you deliver some good gameplay. Those maps didn't have any gameplay at all.
Oh yeah.
Nobody can fucking claim they had gameplay.
That's the biggest bit of them all, I think, is how the maps were completely devoid of actual content. You're just slamming your head into a block of shit for about 2 hours or however long it took.
Like I've dealt with so many different people who of so many different skill sets across so many different games, and a lot of them are really good, and a lot of them are not. And I cannot ever say I've ever played user-made content that was as bad as those maps. Ever in any game. I've seen a lot of shit. I've sent you a lot of shit too, those models and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, those sliding textures and deformities and all this other shit. Well, that's what StarCraft 2's base assets fucking look like to begin with. They may be more technically, you know, coherent than those, but they look just as messed up from the top-down perspective. I just can't get over the obsession with making these games 3D when you just can't do it. And I mean, Blizzard can't do 2D anymore either. The StarCraft Remastered proved that pretty damn solidly. So maybe they should have just outsourced that to NetEase too. This is the funny thing, is the reason why that Diablo mobile game looks so much better than Diablo 3 is because it wasn't Blizzard who made it.
Yeah, they'll never live that one down, I don't think. Or they will. I don't know. I'm still surprised that their stocks are still falling.
A lot of people's stocks are actually falling right now. I think Bethesda's has fallen a little bit, and I think Nvidia's took a huge hit too. I'm not entirely sure why. Someone was telling me about it. I didn't really read up on it. The thing is that you can... I'm not really going to pretend to know how stocks work, because it's nothing I really ever read into, because the subject just seems so, you know, absolutely absurd to me. But the thing is, these kind of effects can have a real lasting effect in the minds of a lot of people. People are a lot like sheep. You know, a sense of, like, let's say positivity for Blizzard. Let's say somebody plays StarCraft 2 and they really, really like it. As a result, they're more likely to think highly of, say, Diablo 3. Because they've walked out of StarCraft 2 that positive mindset, they're going to think, hey, Diablo 3 is a good game too. You know, I really like this company. But they come out of StarCraft 2 with a salty experience, they're going to be also inclined to think of Diablo 3 in a similar way, like, well, StarCraft 2 wasn't that good, so why would Diablo 3 be that good? Perspective changes a lot in a lot of people, and a lot of people just don't care enough about software or their money to really give a shit about even like the company's relationship with them as a consumer. A lot of people are really just willing to be abused by a company if they can just get their like 5 minutes out of them. But this applies to BlizzCon, because BlizzCon was literally like, there was no worse way you could have handled that as Blizzard, other than maybe like throwing everybody out afterwards. But I'm sure that's what people felt like, is that they had been thrown out, because they had literally just been thrown up on and laughed at. They paid this company hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars to come to hear about, you know, news about platforms for games they enjoyed, and they just literally got said, hey, we're just going to sell you some Chinese shovelware instead, you entitled piece of shit.
They closed the conference, the panel for Diablo with that announcement. Before the BlizzCon even went up, they were teasing Diablo news. Like, that could have influenced people's purchasing decisions to even get there to the event to begin with.
No. So, and like that shit sticks in people's minds. And on top of it, a lot of people have started to like, a lot of people who weren't noticing it before with all the other examples, but with this examples, have noticed how far in the pockets all these shitty review websites are that are like, oh, you don't like mobile games, so you must not like female gamers, which means you're a misogynist because you don't like Diablo Immortal. And it's obviously like just trying to spin these PRs into like smear campaigns against people, trying to call them white supremacists and misogynists and whatever. And like, it's the same tired old thing they've been doing for fucking ever since these companies gave them the spotlight by putting them on their bankroll. And more people are realizing this because it's the one trick fucking pony to try to fucking shame people into this shit by screaming it. But it's just like this tiny few screaming spider monkeys that are constantly doing this shit over and over and over and over and over again. I don't know a single fucking person who takes any of these garbage websites like RPS and Kotaku seriously. They just survive off of hate clicks, I guess. But now here comes Todd. Officer Todd is here. And like it's spreading, and the Diablo shit keeps spreading it further. It keeps pissing into the fucking kiddie pool, and people see you pissing into it. And a lot of people have turned around and completely gone against Blizzard, who are otherwise their fanboys up to that point, just because of something that happened that didn't even relate to them. So, you know, personally speaking, I would love to see a Diablo game. I'd love to see a StarCraft game. But I haven't seen any of those games since 1998. I haven't seen Diablo since Diablo Classic. I would love to play new games. I love those games. They had flaws, but I've spent tons of times in them. I freaking made total conversions to StarCraft 1 since 2000 to 2009. I did freaking total conversions for Diablo 2. I played the game for fucking ever, from classic release all the way up to 1.08 and 110. I sunk a lot of time into those games. And I was able to recognize their flaws, and I was still able to enjoy them. I'd love to see new titles released on those franchises that gave the old titles credit. But this isn't how you do it. This isn't how you do it. We're not looking at StarCraft here. We're looking at cargo cult StarCraft. Somebody who wanted to make StarCraft but didn't put even a lick of sense into figuring out what StarCraft actually was. Because if you look past all the excuses of modernization of visualization and the different art styles and all this other garbage, what you end up result is you still got a campaign whose fucking gameplay doesn't even resemble an RTS. And yeah, StarCraft's campaign gameplay was a mess too, sure thing. But the thing is, this isn't 1998, 1997 anymore. It's kind of expected that maybe we learned a thing or two since then, especially given that it was our title, StarCraft, who offered the RTS such an illustrious history to begin with. It's not beyond our ability to look at StarCraft's community and maybe put some people on a small bankroll and say, hey, teach us about StarCraft because we weren't around to watch it as much as you were. Like, even like fucking Artosis and Tasteless, the people who made StarCraft their life as casters, Kim Carrier, people from the Korean casting scene would be even better. Because a lot of these American casters, they learned from these people, and the shit that these people bring up in their analysis of shit people made the game had no idea how it fucking worked. Like the Mesk bouncing and the directions it tended to prioritize and stuff like that. Like, these people made this shit their passion. Why wouldn't you learn from them? Why wouldn't you learn about what made this game their passion, where it all started, and how you could use that as an instigator to make StarCraft 2 successful? They threw all of that away. For what? Medicines, cocaine, and Prozac addiction. That's it.
I think it's really weird because it feels like a case of they started out with a faulty premise that they knew better or they were going to do something better than all of the original title, but it doesn't it's a malicious premise, but the work that goes into it means that it actually costs them more money to produce because it's so over-engineered. So it's not even like they did themselves a favor by being lazy or inaccurate. They actually shot themselves in the foot after executing everybody who was even interested in playing this. It's really bizarre because it's like that combination of maliciousness and incompetence.
And this comes on the tail end of them claiming StarCraft 2 had a 7-year development, or maybe it was Titan. One of them had a 7-year development cycle that got scrapped. But they just ended up reusing all the old crap anyways. Their definition of dropping projects is very different than what anybody else.
Well, they had they had a build in 2004, didn't they? Or was it 2007?
I would have been very interested to see what that looked like because Condor's Diablo 3 build, what little we saw of it, it was still 3D and we don't have a very good view of it. But when we do have a view of it, it looks so much better than the Diablo 3 that was released so many years later from Blizzard South, from Silicon and Synapse, or whoever their original name was. And they're completely fucking worlds apart, even today. Just those low resolution screenshots look so much better than anything that Blizzard has pushed out for Diablo since. And it's not like Blizzard North was, Condor was good. It's not like they really redeemed themselves after Blizzard shot them out anyways.
Yeah, I think Hellgate London dispels any myths.
They did a better job at Blizzard than Blizzard did, and that's what made them very jealous about them. So I'm gonna sign off on that because I'm tired and incoherent, but it's hysterical that this is what StarCraft turned into, because I really owe my life to StarCraft. I grew up with StarCraft. I invested so much of my time, pretty much all the skills I developed and continue to use to this day, and unrelated stuff are owed to StarCraft. Modeling, graphics, shaders, little bits of scripting and voice acting. Wasn't developed with StarCraft. I did it for years before StarCraft was ever developed, but StarCraft helped me cement it in digital editing, that's for sure, and sound editing in general, and like everything. It really grew up with StarCraft, and to see that this is what it's turned into is disgusting. It's offensive in a way that people got paid to basically put the StarCraft name on a meme. That's what this is. This is a meme. They're more worried about their achievements and XP counters and lens flares and lens dirt than about StarCraft. And it shows. It shows on every level you could possibly assess it from. It shows on the custom content level from their blatant disrespect to the people that gave StarCraft custom content life, to the people that gave Warcraft 3 life, to the people that gave Diablo 2 life, that they stole so many ideas from, that Peter just fucked up in biblical ways. It's an insult to the people who played StarCraft for so many years and waited for so long, and it's an insult to new people coming into the franchise that treats them like complete belligerent babies who don't even understand how a computer fucking works right off the bat in the hardest difficulty in the third installation of the game.
Yeah. Well, they don't learn from any of their past mistakes, pretty obviously. It actually goes, it gets worse as time goes on, right? Because Wings of Liberty, like you mentioned, has at least one semi-functional macro mission. And 3 maps in, we've seen nothing to resemble it. I can attest to the fact that there's really nothing like it in the main story. But we'll get to that eventually. I'm not sure when we'll be back, but we will be. So it's quite the disaster we've gotten ourselves into. This is about as bad as Undertale.
But at the same time, how much of it is really avoidable? How much of this can we blame on the focus marketing and shit that comes as a result of their obligations to their investors and the deranged CEOs they've had shitting all over the company? They're completely out of control project managers or runaway departments. You know, the vengeful staff who just, like Brett Wood, who just are out to destroy much of what they were supposed to be nurturing. And we'll never have the full story. We can only really make assessments about it. But what the end of the day is, you know, regardless of the content of the campaign, we are huffing Metzen's Prozac meth mixture. That is what's happening right now. We are feeling his razor blade edge crawling across our arms. We're drinking deep of his grape drink, his punch. We're seeing those just dead, sterile marketer stares in the 1,000-yard fucking glare, in that smile. You know that smile that the telecom marketer's always got. That's what he's smiling to you with. As threes rain from the sky.
My soul burns.
My soul burns.